you can put high concepts in lyrics, but not have to explain it. You just hope that the audience can understand it. Or if they don't know what something means, that it sparks an interest and them have to go, well, what does that mean? What does that word mean?
Really want to know what happened before this self-titled album.
I was actually doing a lot of stuff on myself, trying to record things, figure out how to do it. I actually worked with Dazastah's father at a hotel. He'd come in the morning and we'd talk. So he just said, oh, my son's into hip-hop, like, do you want me to connect you? I went round to visit him one day and Scotty and Shabazz came over. I saw what Daz was doing with the computer and I was like, oh, fuck, he's fucking light years ahead of me. Through that connection, the world of Perth hip-hop sort of opened up to me. I remember he'd gone to Melbourne or something and he was doing a gig and he felt really sick there and he went to the hospital and then they told him that's when he had cancer. So he called me from Melbourne, was like, bro, I've got fucking pancreatic cancer. And I was just like, what do they do? And he's like, not much, nothing really. It didn't take the wind out of his sails. It almost like super motivated him to be like, well, they're telling me I only got this amount of time. There is no tomorrow. There is today. We do it now. We do everything now. So he did everything he could. One of the things was, finishing this album that we'd started.
This podcast is proudly sponsored by Studio 187 Tattoo. They're located on Guildford Road in Maylands, and I'm a clean skin, but if I wasn't, I would definitely be going to see these guys. They even offer private rooms to get tattooed in if you're not a fan of the open studio structure. You can find them on Instagram at Studio 187 Tattoo. Welcome back to the Osmetric series. Today I am joined by Mortar. Thank you for being here, mate.
Thank you for inviting me.
It's my pleasure.
I don't get invited many places anymore. You know?
Me neither.
It's nice to get out of the house.
Well, I'm happy that you did get out of the house because you brought me probably, more hip-hop memorabilia than I already have.
Look at your swag.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm stoked.
A good man.
I've gone through releases. I've clearly missed one or two, but what I had on my end is that I've got that you got 4 solo albums and then there was 6 clan ones. Do I have that right? Or am I?
It's 3 solo.
3 solo. Oh.
Plus Hunter and Mortar. Plus Grand Lodge 3. And then the 5 Clandestine releases.
Okay. So Sacred Geometry was?
Yeah, it's a solo.
That's a solo. Yeah. Okay. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you said that was 10 or 11? Grand Lodge?
I can't remember. I had to do the math.
Well, the first one came out in 2001.
Quick math. Yeah.
2000?
So I went the Clandestine self-titled, Dynasty, Mortar Shell Symphony, then Chasms, then Sacred Geometry, then
Hunter and Mortar?
Hunter and Mortar.
That's 2010.
And Weapons Grade. They were about the same time.
They came out separately. Fear and Loathing came out 2010. Weapons Grade was 2013. Did it come out after?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
In my mind there, like, I don't know. I can't remember years. Then Brave New World, Napalm Psalms.
And then whatever's coming next?
And Grand Lodge 3 was in there. And there's another Grand Lodge 3 album that's just sitting on a computer somewhere in Melbourne.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think we'll ever see it?
Oh, yeah. Well, someday, but it's like, yeah. We did it right before COVID, like recorded it literally the sort of November, I think, before COVID hit. And then it kind of squashed a lot of back and forth stuff. So it kind of got shelved and then we were waiting for artwork and then, sometimes getting artists motivated to do stuff is hard. So
getting people motivated to come here can be difficult.
Fucking rappers are shit.
Yeah, I'm learning that they're difficult. I'm not going to say they're shit because that'll burn the bridges.
They all are.
Some people are pretty hard.
They're hard to nail them down.
It can be. And the thing is, though, I think, as we talked about before, it depends on the person and some people aren't as open, which I understand. Some people don't maybe necessarily want to have those conversations about things. But, I mean, there's a a lot to go over with you. I guess I want to kind of understand where it started. I don't know if you've only ever done one other podcast, is that right?
No, I've done a couple.
You've done a couple?
Yeah, I've done like Cogs, Beers, Beats, and the Biz.
Oh, that. Who runs that again?
750 Rebel. You've drawn a blank now. I'm thinking of Ken Oath, but it's not. It's fucking Jake Biz.
Oh.
Beers, Beats, and the Biz.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, okay.
It's in the name, and I was like, oh, fuck. So Jake Biz, which is pretty good. I did the Beatdown, which is Beats from Adelaide. I've done another couple, but they're kind of smaller ones that you've probably never heard of and probably hard to track down.
I struggle to find them, yeah, but it's like it's also, and you would get this right. It's annoying when you type. It's always fucked up to type your name in and see like what comes up.
Yeah,
like I don't know why I called the overarching project like what I did. Like the porta potty sounds funny, but it's fucked because it's just toilets everywhere. And and yeah, just so we're on record, I hate the name. I just feel like I'm in too deep to change it, which is why now I'm calling this segment something different.
Sometimes you just got to keep on going.
You got to lean into it, eh?
Just go. There's a point where you break through the other side and you look back and you'll be like, that was good times. It was meant to be that name.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I lean into it. Might need to get like a fart pad as well. Like really lean into it.
You need a fart mic.
I need a fart mic. Yeah, that's Jesus. I really want to know what happened before this self-titled album. Like 2001, obviously, is where that came out.
Yep.
It always blows my mind to do this now. So 24 years ago.
Mm.
I mean, I don't know whether you've gone over this.
10 then.
You're only
about 10. Yeah,
yeah.
Very young. Fuck.
Almost as
You're
young
dating
as
me
Maddie.
now, aren't you? Yeah. What happened before that? Well,
So for a start, how old were you then? So 24 years ago, what would you have been?
26.
26.
Yeah.
But you were making music before then?
I was making music before then.
Okay.
But I'm not from Perth. I was born in Kalgoorlie, but when I was 7 years old, I moved to Alice Springs to live with my dad. Got a job there. He worked for the railways. And so from 7 till I was 20, I lived in Alice Springs, and like hip hop, it was hard to come by. Like there was one record store that had stuff, so it was very limited. But we still had all the popular stuff like, Eazy-E, NWA, Public Enemy, Naughty by Nature. All that stuff was big still, but sort of more off to the side stuff was hard to come by. So there's a lot of early 90s stuff that I had to get into later and sort of revisit years later during the late 90s. But I moved to Perth in 95. And so I didn't know anyone, had no connections. There was no school friends.
How old were you in 95?
20.
It's the year I was born.
Oh, jeez.
Good year.
And how, mate?
Good year. No, but it sounds like a lot of good stuff was happening.
Yeah. But so I didn't have any reference of any connections to anybody. So I'd been into rap. I loved it since I was a kid in the mid-'80s and stuff, and sort of been in and out of it a bit, and then just sort of really fell in love with it in high school again. So I was doing stuff, but it was kind of like ad hoc by myself, trying to figure out stuff. I didn't really know there was a scene. There was no internet like I had access to back then. Sort of, you can like Google. You couldn't Google stuff and find out people doing stuff. Well, I didn't know how to back then, and so I was actually doing a lot of stuff on myself, trying to record things, figure out how to do it. And then I actually worked with Dazastah's father at a hotel, and he was the weekend maintenance man, and I was the night clerk, the sort of did the night shift, balance all the books and stuff, and sit around and watch movies while it was quiet. But he'd come in the morning and we'd talk. And for ages, we talked and talked all the time. And one day he's just like, because we talked about music, because he played music, the whole Dazastah family was into music. Every one of them did something. And so he just said, "Oh, my son's into hip hop. Like, do you want me to connect you? And I was like, "Yeah, sure, no worries." And he put me in touch with Daz. I called him. I went round to visit him one day, and when I was there, Scotty and Shabazz came over, as they were working on the very first Downside stuff. And so I saw what Daz was doing with the computer, and I was like, oh, fuck, he's fucking light years ahead of me. And then through that connection, it just, the world of Perth hip-hop sort of opened up to me. So it's like, come down to Hyde Park, meet dudes, hang out. So having that one little connection with Daz is what got me into SBX, because, I sort of, if I didn't, I don't know what I'd be doing now, if I'd be doing the same stuff. So it was like, he was the plug, got me in through the doors. And then, so that's how I met like everybody in Syllabolics, was through the Hyde Park Hotel gatherings and stuff. And just because I was doing stuff and working on production, there wasn't a lot of people doing that at the time. Probably like Scotty, Daz, and me, maybe a couple of other people I don't really know. Can't remember now. So MCs were kind of thirsty for beats and that. So if you're doing it, okay, come and check it out. And Tomo and Graphic were together working on stuff. And they just come around one day, and I had to pick 2 beats. They liked them, and next minute we're off to the races. And they had a mixtape come out, and there was like 6 tracks on it. I think Scotty did 3, Daz did 1, and I did 2. And then from then on, it was just like they liked the style that I was doing, and it kind of gelled with what they were doing. And so, we kind of came together. It was organic. It wasn't like, it wasn't planned or anything. It just I kind of fell into it, by just having the right connection at the right time, and obviously being really good at what I do. No. Well, I got better, but I
wanted to ask about that, like, because how did that go? Like when you're first hearing each other, especially back then when there's so little of it.
Yeah.
Was there those kind of reactions where people were sort of like, was their reaction to you like, oh fuck man, like you're really good? Or was it like, like, was it, because you speak to people now and they go, oh, I wasn't great back then. But what did people think back then? Like when you everyone talks about it now, like back then I sucked, but it's like, but at the time, did you all kind of just vibe what each other were doing?
Yeah,
like,
I think so.
Yeah.
I think there was I think everybody that sort of came out of that Syllabolic camp and put stuff out was actually really good. And I think that's why we, sort of came together, was that, we could see in each other the potential as well as what we were good at right now. I mean, and so looking back, you go, oh, I've improved. Like, if you hadn't, like, that'd be shit, because if you've 20 plus years or whatever of working at a craft, if you can't look back and go, okay, well, I've improved from there to here, well, I can still look back and go, oh, that was good for the time. Like, it wasn't terrible. There are some things I'm like, nah, give or take. But, still pretty proud of everything that we did.
Well, sometimes it's small stuff anyway, right? I find you get caught up on like, it's almost always delivery and inflection, I think. It's always how you said something.
Yeah.
I had a brief thing where I made a bit of music, and for me, I was like one of those guys that rushed. And it reminded me of how people like draft rap when he first started, where you would like, and even then he didn't do it badly because he was still good then. But it was that thing where you were trying to fit too much into the bar. I would say you're the opposite of it to me. You leave a lot of space. You don't seem to rush any of that's just from what I've listened to.
No, yeah.
Like from my perspective, maybe not to you, but some people are real, it's like they know, it's like the multi's here and they're trying to put everything they can in to get to that multi, but they're trying to, instead of maybe sitting with it, working out syllables more and going, oh look, how can I say the same thing in less words and then it flows better?
That's the big thing, man. And is you writing stuff and then cutting stuff, knowing where words are superfluous. They don't need to be in there. You don't need to say something and the or something like that. You can cut those words out and connect two words together that shouldn't be wedged together. Like in language, you'd fail at grammar, but the concept is you can step over from one concept to another without having bridging words. So, but people tend to get stuck on those things of like, oh, I have to explain everything. But it's like, you can say a concept and then another concept, and you know they're related, but you don't need to say how they're related. People make that judgment themselves. People aren't stupid, and I think that's one of the big things is knowing when not to jam words in or when to take words out, because you're like, well, I don't need to say that because it makes sense without it. And the economy of words is better than trying to just jibber jabber fucking like diarrhea of words just to fill space.
Yeah.
And a flow is better than having the language flow, and is better than having more. It's not necessarily more. You can have less and it'll be better. So yeah.
I agree. Like if you really analyze a lot of the hip hop that's been released over the years and look at different artists, you can definitely see people who struggle with that more than others.
Oh yeah.
And I like the way you put that too, because if someone's listening to your stuff and they like your style, they're used to that.
Yeah.
They're used to you doing that. And I would say you're all pretty, I'd have to kind of use an example. I would say you and Tomo seem to be the most similar in the sense that of doing that, where it would just be like this word, and this word, and this word. And it was like, that was the bar. And as you said, there was not a lot of little ones in between, but you could understand what you were putting out there. And I think that's where you kind of start to go, well, then this is what kind of good rap is, right? Because you're getting the same point across.
Yeah.
And it sounds more poetic.
Yeah.
Because you're not, and also, so it reminds me, I don't know if you're familiar with, there's a UK rapper named Jam Baxter. You know who that is?
I've heard a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, he's very similar. But a lot of people won't listen to him because you might have someone like Dirty Dyke, who's on the same label as him, who is kind of the opposite. So lots of multi...
Word salad.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, like, he's still good, but Jam Baxter, he'll say stuff where you're like, fuck, is that even in the dictionary? Like, because he's just got... And you're a bit like that. Yeah. I think that your music's pretty in-depth in this. Like, have you ever had to look up... Have you ever said something and almost had to, like, proof, like, sort of fact check yourself?
There has been times when I'm like, do I know what that word means? No.
Yeah.
Am I using that correctly?
Yeah.
And I'm not really, because I'm pretty well read, so I know a lot of stuff. But yeah, I think you can put high concepts in lyrics, but not have to explain it. You just hope that the audience can understand it and go, or if they don't know what something means, that it sparks an interest and them have to go, well, what does that mean? What does that word mean? Like, why is he using superfluous in a podcast for dum-dums?
Yeah.
Nah, but you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I kind of try to give...
Is that why you said this is for the sus cunts and dumb fucks, it's Mortar? Is that...
Yeah, you know, they get that.
They get it, yeah, they do, yeah.
Rather than if I said this is for the, highbrow, intellectual elite, nobody's that.
I'm already lost. Yeah.
No, I just think I try to give the audience, the listener, like the benefit of the doubt that some concepts they're going to understand, even if they are like way out left field. If they don't like the raps, they probably, I mean, I'm not for everybody, but sometimes they might hear something and go, oh, that sounds cool, but what does it mean? And then understand that there's like layers of meaning to stuff as well.
Like it's thought-provoking.
Yeah, I guess I could have just said that. I did a whole word salad for
I liked it though.
Talk about economy of words. You summed it up right there.
Yeah, well, you're showing that you've got a good vocabulary though. Yeah, because it's other like I have some guys. I mean, I'm assuming some guys are just going to come on here and probably just talk in multis at some point because it's the only way they know how to. Sometimes it's, and I have to admit, I was guilty of it back in the day. I feel like I could not say a sentence in a rap without being like, no, it needs to be like a perfect multi. And I really got trapped in that. And that's why it's fun to explore talking about it with you, because you don't do that. There's plenty of times where I hear it. I almost sometimes hear shit where I'm like, that could have been a multi, and I like that he didn't make it one.
Yeah.
Because it flowed better.
Yeah, sometimes you got to... Flow is so important, and it's kind of underrated a lot that, like... Well, it's not underrated a lot, but some people think that just jamming rhyming words together, a lot of them, is good. But if it doesn't make sense, then what's the point? It's better to have something that flows a bit better and has congruency with the message or the theme or the idea that you're trying to put forward, rather than it just be, I've got to hit him with as many rhymes as possible, you know?
Like sort of new age Eminem stuff. It's
and it's like, some of that stuff. See, I'm not into that sort of jibber jabber rap, because a lot of it's just like, it's just rhyme words stacked together, but sometimes it doesn't really mean a lot. And I've always been like, there has to be an underlying meaning to what you're saying. Like, if you're just saying stuff and it doesn't mean anything, it's pointless. So yeah, even if you're just bragging about how good a rapper you are, there still has to be something like example of why, themes and meanings and you know, phrases that back it up and aren't just, oh, I'm fucking good because I'm good.
Yeah, like sort of like Draft and opted a song back in the day called Prolific, and I liked that for that reason. The song was kind of about being good, but they didn't just talk about being good the whole time. It was kind of concepts about being good, and that's artistry, right? It's like doing something but without it being anything that's too straightforward, right? To me, it's kind of like intellectual comedy versus like slapstick. You know, it's like a slapstick kind of just like a fart or something like that. We can all on a base level laugh at that shit.
Yeah.
But to a certain level, like...
Are you going to go back to the fart to try and understand the fart?
Yeah, there's nothing more than the fart, right? Yeah, the fart is... It's not deep.
Nah.
Yeah, it's not deep. But I actually... I have a line here that I wrote as soon as I heard it, because I'll say the line first. I mean, let's hope I heard it right. By the way, ChatGPT could not find any of your lyrics because I wanted to fact check them to make sure I was hearing them correctly. ChatGPT said that it cannot find the lyrics for Mortar, which was very upsetting for me.
I don't think they've been written anywhere.
Well, that's probably the problem, right? Although I'm assuming we'll have a program soon that can just find them, like listen to it and then write them.
They'll probably make a new Mortar song without me.
Yeah, would
that be so dope?
6 more Clandestine albums.
Write an album and just say ChatGPT, make it sound like me.
Yeah.
Input all the old tracks, and then it'll just regurgitate it as a new track.
Yeah.
And you won't be able to tell the difference.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't waste time doing that when a computer can do it.
If I'm not writing raps, I'm not making a beat. I like it.
Fuck, yeah.
This one is...
Watch me shows. Catch up on me programs.
This podcast is sponsored by Ciecmate Apex. Ciecmate Apex creates some of the best barbells in the world, and they supply some of these barbells to some of the strongest powerlifters and athletes in the world. If you want an Ciecmate Apex barbell, you can go to ciecmateapex.com and use the code PORTAPOTTY for 10% off any order that you make. Well, this is good because you're a TV show movie guy.
Ah, yeah, pretty much.
Oh man, wicked! Because I speak to people all the time and they're not, and I'm always like, I struggle because it's not the be all and end all, but it's kind of like guys who like cars. I'm like a movie guy.
Yeah.
So when someone's not into them, I'm like, okay.
How do we relate?
Yeah, damn it.
What common ground have we got? Nothing.
Do you like Maltese?
Yeah.
So
cars.
Well, don't even start about cars. So.
I don't care about cars.
Oh, good. We're on the same point. Yeah.
I drive a Getz.
Yeah, I saw that when you rocked up. As soon as you pulled in, I was like, you know what? Mortar's fuel efficient. I like that.
Yeah, it is. Very fuel efficient.
Very fuel. I got a Hyundai, man. That's what I'm all about. You wrote, yeah, I drop bile, see it's heavy. Why you try steal my style like Peter Petrelli?
Yes.
We just literally last night finished the last episode of season 4 of Heroes, which was the last episode.
Yeah.
So... sometimes people will say stuff and then you'll go, hey, man, you really like that? And they go, oh, no, I just know what the show was. I don't know it that well. Is this one of those times or have you seen the show?
I watched the show and then they stopped making it because of the writer strike. And that last season kind of fell off. And then they just cancelled it. But, yeah, it's just cool. The name's cool in itself. That it's like that. What do I call it when
There's a name for it.
it starts with the same words?
Yeah, Stan Lee did it with all the comics back in the day.
Yeah. Bruce Banner.
Bruce Banner, Peter Parker.
Yeah.
I forget what it's called, but yeah.
Yeah, can't remember now what it's called. But it's so Peter Petrelli, and he's the dude in it that his ability is he can take any other hero in that series if he just touches them, isn't it? Something like that.
That's right, yeah.
If he touches them, he can then use their power.
Because Sila's like his antagonist.
Yeah.
So Sila's like, he's like taking people's powers and like killing them.
Yeah.
And then it's almost like that's how they run the show, is him and Sila are almost like this kind of like axis that tips, because Peter's kind of like, it's almost like he's using people's powers, but he's not hurting them. And then Sila's kind of taking them from people.
He absorbs them and keeps them.
Well, in the end, Peter
Petrelli could only, if he touched someone, then he gained their power, but he lost the one that he had before.
It was bad writing. The show suffered from it a lot. The first season, for some people, is talked about as like one of the best seasons of TV, and I think it's really good. But what happened is, for a while, he could use more of them. But then what happens is Peter gets his powers taken by like his dad. He takes them completely off Peter, and then Peter gets them back. But then for whatever reason, when he gets them back, he got like a gypped Timu version of his powers, and he could only ever basically if he touched someone, he would take their power and lose the old one.
Yeah.
So he could fly 1 second and then read minds the next.
Touch someone, it's like fuck.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
What if you get the wrong? You touch the wrong person, you get the wrong shit. You know.
There'd be some shit powers.
Yeah.
There would be some bad ones. But then they made...
You'd be calling the dude that can fly, like, yo, bro, just come around, fucking...
Just pop over quickly.
Just hang out for a bit.
Yeah. There's
just meet him at the door, shake hands. Okay, see you, buddy.
See you later, man. Yeah.
Bye now.
Well, there's people that had amazing ones, right? Like, for me, I'd be happy with the time travel one. I'd never change that, you know? But imagine if you did the time travel one, then when you time traveled to somewhere, you accidentally touched someone and you were like, I'm fucking stuck here.
Oh, yeah, that has powers. Yeah.
Too many issues, man, you know? But I like...
That's the trouble with time travel as well, is... That's we could talk for the whole podcast about it.
It's my favorite topic. Like, if it comes to movies or TV shows, man, time travel is like... I
love the paradoxes of it, like, to think, because it's such a logic thought thing of like, what would happen if you went back and changed things? Would you be the only person that knows? And what happened to the people that you knew back in that time?
So
is there a split parallel? Do you split parallel universes and those people keep going and having already lived that experience? And did you coming back split and create another timeline where whatever you changed hasn't happened?
I think that's the theory. The theory they reckon is that you die essentially. When they've looked at it from a theoretical setting, is that here's the timeline. You travel from here. When you travel, this you dies, and then you create a separate timeline where you're alive. And so that's why there's like, I don't know if this is directly connected to like different dimensions, but the idea is that's why there's multiple timelines, because you've basically died in the other ones. And that one you're technically killing yourself in.
Shit.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, right, to think about. There's a really, if you haven't seen it, there's a hilarious, I'll link it to you. It's like a 5-minute short film that someone made about this, about a guy trying to talk to a chick, and he like presses a button every time he wants to travel back because he keeps on fucking up talking to her, and then basically realizes that he's killing himself every single time when he time travels back. So it skips back to all the other timelines, and she's just like screaming because he's just like down on a bench next to him.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the concept behind it.
Yeah, that's cool, yeah.
But if you haven't seen it, you should watch a movie called Predestination. Have you seen it?
I've seen it, yeah.
Yeah, and that was filmed in Australia, actually.
Yeah.
And that's a really good example, because it's, without ruining the movie, as you know, it's really confusing.
Yeah.
But it shows you that, like, the snake eating its own tail.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I just watched another movie recently. It's called Mickey 17.
We just watched it, yeah.
And it's not about time travel, but it has a concept in it about that, where his brain is backed up and then he gets sent to do the dangerous jobs and dies. Then they just reprint his body and chuck that brain back in it and upload it. So he's kind of like continually living, but the body's changing. And one day when they think he dies, he doesn't. So they print another body and put the brain in it. And then he comes back and is like, oh, shit, there's two of us and it's not allowed. And so it's like, well, both of them don't want to die because are they now separate people or the same? Because if one of them dies, it's like he doesn't feel like it would still be him because there's another one already there. And it's such a great concept. Like, because who are you? Are you your thoughts on that? You know, or you're not part of the flesh? You know, it was such a really, really highbrow idea, concept of like, what are you and what makes you? And it was really interesting because he was dying all the time, but because he knew it was coming back, it was fine. But as soon as there was two of them, he was like, well, I don't want to die now because I feel like I'm not coming back. It's you that's coming back. Mm. Sorry if I'm ruining the movie for people.
No. I mean, if we really want to send it, I'm going to ruin it completely. I love the concept. It was really deep. I wish they did more with it because they actually, and a few people agree on this, in the end, it just kind of becomes about weird worm aliens, and it's actually a bit of a...
Yeah.
The ending and stuff was a bit underwhelming, considering the concept. The concept, yes. If you ever want to see that concept done well without ruining it, watch a movie from 2009 with Sam Rockwell in it called Moon.
Yes. Because he's not the first iteration of himself.
Yeah.
But he thinks he is.
Then
he realizes like, oh, he's just been the same sort of thing, like not reincarnated, but like...
Well, he's working on the moon for 3 years or whatever, and then... But he thinks he gets to go home, right?
Yeah.
Just making him do it again and again.
Yeah. They sort of... I can't remember how they do it, though. Is it wiping his whole memory and then starting him again? Or is it like he dies and then they...
I think he goes and like finds himself somewhere.
Yeah.
Brings himself back. And then it's like weird, but it's got Kevin Spacey in it. He plays the computer.
Yes.
This was pre... sexual assault on teenagers, by the way. Yeah, this was like Kevin gave people more Spacey. You know what I mean? Didn't he was okay back then. Well, I don't know. Maybe he wasn't. I feel
who knows?
You have a Kevin Spacey bar almost, or a Mickey 17 one.
Oh, I'd probably do now.
Yeah, I feel. Are you gonna are you still writing?
Not so much. I keep meaning to, but I just find myself not.
Yeah, just
I get motivated, and then I'm like, I should do some stuff, and then I like write a few concepts down, and then I'm like, life goes on. Busy doing other stuff.
You make beats first usually, or
I haven't made beats for a while.
Okay.
Yeah. Guess I'm not as hungry as I was as a young man. I was very hungry to like just keep working, and the passion was there. Now it's more like, I'll do it when I feel the need to do it, I guess. I don't know.
No, that makes sense. I mean, I think it's a tough one, man. Like, it's not like you don't have a lot of music.
Yeah.
So that sometimes not that you feel like you've done what you needed to, but I don't know. When would you feel like you've done what you needed to?
Yeah.
I mean, you've released like over 10 albums. I mean, that's
a lot of stuff.
It's a big footprint to make in the scene and stuff, and so and like you're obviously happy with it too.
Yeah.
I don't think I've listened to all of Brave New World, so that's a bit of a treat for me as well. Because as I said to you, I was listening to Napalm Psalms. I've got like 2 songs left on that one, but then Brave New World I haven't heard as much of because, as I said to you, I listened to a lot of Weapons Grade, and that was one I played a lot. But that was real, as we talked about before, it was real feature heavy. Yeah.
Well, that was the idea behind it. We'd never really done anything with a lot of other people in the scene, and it was a time when we were doing a bit of touring over East and all that. And so we were like, while we're in places, why don't we get the people that we like to work with us and stuff? So it was kind of a way to get all of the features of people that we enjoyed onto the one album sort of thing.
Were any of them tough to get on? Like, was anyone kind of like, because I feel like most people you probably knew pretty well.
The only one was Trem.
Oh, really?
Yes. I spoke to him and asked him, and he said, look, to be honest, I don't really want to do it, not because he doesn't like us, but because he just doesn't, it took him so long to do that one album, his solo joint, you know, he spent so much time on it, and he says like, "That's me. I'll just hold you back. I'll take forever. I won't be happy with what I'm doing." Like he's very much a perfectionist and real. He goes, you know, talk to Brad, he'll do it. And he's like, you know, I'm more, if you want to beat, yeah, cool, no worries, but Brad'll be fucking all over it. So I was like, okay, so we hit up Brad for that, and you know,
I talked to Fluent about this the other day. We're talking about like perfectionism and like how people, when knowing when to know a song's finished,
when to let go,
yeah. That's hard. I think about the Clandestine stuff, and I'm like, it must have been cool. This sounds so lazy. It must have been cool to just write a verse, to know that you didn't have to write 2 or 3 for a lot of those songs.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, that sounds lazy, but to me, I was never in a group. So to me, sometimes I thought about it with you guys and Funkors and maybe not Hilltops, only obviously 2 of them, but I always thought it must be nice.
It takes the burden off a bit.
You get more work done, right?
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. And also, we were never over precious of like trying to get something perfect. A lot of our stuff was, we'd write it on the day and record it that same day, and then, okay, that's it. The recording of it's done. Then I spend time like producing it, you know, properly. So there was a lot of like, you just did it and never went back to it to re-record or think about it. Like, just, that's what you did on the day. That's what's going, you know. So you sort of came with your best writing as well, because you knew it was like, this is it. It's not going to be a second chance. And also we're very competitive in the group as well. So as we're sitting there writing, you sort of like run through what you've written, and if the other person's like, "Oh fuck, that's good," and they're like, "Fuck, now I got to fucking really knuckle down." And so there was like, what's it, like steel sharpens steel, but also like Dynasty was all one takes. Like you did the verse and you did it in the one take, so it might take you a couple of goes to get it. But once you got it, it was like, that's it. It's captured in that moment. There might be little flaws that you're going to be like, you know, but it's like that's the character of it as well, is that it is kind of more live than jumping in, doing 2 bars and then jumping over that and then, you know, building a whole track or a whole verse from, you know, different parts. It was just like, bang, one go. So,
but you eventually started that, like you started kind of as the albums progress.
Changed.
You just all punched in. And,
yeah. I mean, I always did on my solo stuff. It was just, I kind of think when we did that, we had this idea of, I don't know, like sort of, it was just what we were doing for that album. There's no like additional vocals as well. Every verse is just one layer. There's no backups or anything like that. It was kind of, we were trying to do like just get it all in one, and that's what you do. That will be it. You can't enhance it with backups, layers, all that sort of stuff. It was just kind of like very simple, trying to make it simple but technical at the same time. Yeah. Like technical in the raps and the delivery, because you had to get that right. So you had to write as well to how you could deliver it in the one shot.
Almost like, you know, you were going to play it live, right? Like
yeah. And it was just kind of like, you know, we were fucking around, you know, as well, kind of like just do it in the one take, you know. It was kind of like a competition as well, because you get like, you know, 12 bars in and then you'd fumble a word and you're like, fuck, shit, fuck, I gotta start again. And like, come on, fuck you, fucking shit ass cunt, fuck, you're the worst. And you get motivated, so you get like amped up and really like, I guess, put your all into it, because you knew it was all or nothing. Because if you failed, you had to start again. And so you were kind of like putting all your effort into that one verse at that one time. And to get a certain feel. And I think that album sounds different than a lot of other stuff that's come out at the time. It sounds rawer. It sounds not as polished. But I think that's the part of the like appeal, I guess, or the aesthetic of it is that people go, it sounds different. It doesn't sound like everybody else. Everybody else there's a lot of overproduction on some stuff. People sound too clean. They sound too, like, it's too perfect.
And then you hear them live and it just...
Yeah. Whereas you hear Clandestine live and it's kind of what you got on that Dynasty was what you got on stage as well, sort of to a degree.
Is that the one that's the finish? Is the finish on that one, or is that the album before? I'm on it.
No, that's Chasms, isn't it?
Yeah, actually. Oh, okay, yeah. My Enemy and I is...
My Enemy and I is off that, yeah.
Yeah, okay,
That's the big one.
Well, so the finish, I remember the finish being the first song I ever heard.
All right.
This podcast is sponsored by PedTest Australia. If you plan on using or are currently using performance-enhancing drugs, it is very important that you make sure you are doing so, having them been tested before you use them or while you are using them to make sure that you take care of your health, and you can also recommend that the people around you do so as well. Go to PedTest Australia on Instagram to find out more about the details on how you can test your current performance-enhancing drugs that you are using, or you can find out more about testing other compounds or things that you are putting in your body if you would like to make sure that you take care of your health.
That song, I don't know, man. That was one of those songs too. I love how it starts immediately. I always like that. That's always cool when it's like, everyone loves a cool intro and all that sort of stuff and builds and that. Something always cool about how that song just started straight away. And I think like for me, it's not that you probably would have had it. I guess maybe you've probably never said it. You've probably never had Graphic deliver a verse and then go, "Hey man, I don't really like this verse that you did. I like Tomo's though." But for me, when you listen to people, you have that, right? Sometimes you'll go like, "I like these two guys' verse, but this one wasn't my favorite that he's done." Then you'll hear another song and you go, "This guy had the best verse on that song, and this wasn't my favorite of his." And you would get this from other music you listen to, whether it was NWA or whatever you're into. Sometimes people deliver a verse, and then the other person on the song just doesn't come with one as strong as they normally do, or whatever it is. And to me, it happened a lot with NWA, actually, because Ice Cube would usually have one of the better ones.
Because he was writing it, so he'd write the best one for himself.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And then he was like, "Oh, yeah, Ren, you can have all this stuff I put to the side."
Ren was a good writer, because the second NWA album was a lot of Ren and DOC.
No, sorry, that's right. Ren was the other writer, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Easy and Dre didn't write.
Easy and Dre.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. I'm not going to say it, because people will stop following me if I do. Easy's good, but he's never been my favorite.
That's fine.
It's a perspective thing. I get it.
Yeah.
Everyone can like what they like. But for me, I feel like Easy's been the one that people always talked about in the group, where to me, Cube was always... I think Ren and Cube were probably the best out of the group.
Yeah, they definitely were. That's if I had to pick the two, the better ones in the crew, it was always Ren. I loved Ren and Cube.
Yeah, and I like Dre when he worked with M. I kind of liked him afterwards because M was writing a lot of his shit, which I liked. Yeah.
Are you saying Dre didn't write a song at all? Yes. Heavens to Betsy.
I know, right? It's funny, though. You have to give it to the guy. He can fucking deliver it like he wrote it.
Yeah.
You've got to give it to someone who can make it. I can't imagine rapping someone else's lyrics. I could never do it, I don't think. But not that I was huge
artist. It's a foreign concept to me.
You've never done it?
Nah, never.
It'd be weird, eh?
I couldn't do it. Like, it'd be, I don't know. For me, it's such a personal thing that it's like, I mean, I've done other people's choruses, but that's different. You're a group, it's a tight collaboration. But if Tomo came and said, "I've written this song, can we do it?" And I'm like, "Okay, well, what have you written? What verses do I need to write?" And he was like, "No, I wrote the whole thing." You'd be like, "Well, then that's your song. Fuck off and do it by yourself."
Yeah.
You'd be like, "What do you mean?"
Yeah, it'd be.
You don't write for me.
Well, your style is so unique too. Like I noticed it the other day as well. Where you're not confined by the beat, which I really love, because I've never been able to really fathom that myself. I've always been like
landing in a certain spot, multi,
hit the beats.
where for you it's like you'll go over the end of the beat, start the next line. It's it's very unique.
I try to weave between I'm still hitting beats or notes or whatever, but you can sort of.
You're not offbeat. You're just you're like riding it.
It's weaving through the actual percussive metronome hit points that a lot of people stick to, and but that's why I'm good.
Of course, yeah.
That's what I do. What I do.
Yes,
it do be what it does.
It do be what it does. And that's I don't disagree with that. Well, I've got another line of yours here. It's a great to put this in perspective. Is no one wants to be that kid sucking dick for a box of fucking Codral.
What the fuck?
Yeah. You said that on Hecticist. It was like a.
Oh shit!
I think it was like a remix thing or something.
Yeah, it was a remix thing.
Yeah, and I literally only just heard it today because I was going through the YouTube and I heard it and I was like listening to it while I was writing stuff and then I was like, "Whoa, what a line!"
It was it was 360 put out a fucking
it was like a beat comp,
a beat comp, and everybody was rapping about their usual shitty self. And I was just like, I'm just going to go in and battle 360, and I knew he had some issues with drugs and stuff. So I just went in. I was like, fuck it, whatever, man. If he hears it, it's cool.
Do you know if you ever heard it?
Wouldn't have a clue.
Never a clue.
Yeah. I've only even met him once.
Yeah.
In passing. I was actually at a show and he was on before me, but we never really talked. And But he was notorious at the time for shelving pharmaceutical drugs. And it was just like I thought it was funny to just go in on him about it.
Yeah, it would have been funny to cross paths awkwardly about it. I know that he was on a song with Hunter back in the day randomly.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, he was. He was on a random song. It's one of those weird collabs I talked about. It's like Hunter 360, maybe someone called like Vocalize or something. Or something I can't remember.
I don't know. Yeah. Probably when he was younger. Yeah,
he's right. He sounds like he's like 18.
Yeah,
and it was like, but it was a weird collaboration to hear them two on a song. You know what I mean? It's something we talked about before. I mean, Weapons Grade is the only one I can really think of because I was going through collabs of yours. I was listening to like the Hospice Crew, the old Hospice Crew.
Oh fuck yeah,
that was cool, man.
Yeah, man.
That was like
that was the second Hospice Crew song.
We
did another one originally, but then the time between when we did it and when it was supposed to come out, Ciecmate was just like, I don't really like it anymore. Like, I want something more up to date.
Yeah.
And so we did another song. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
The other one was pretty cool. Yeah. It was like the first time we went to Melbourne. Bias B brought us over. And he was walking us to Revolver from wherever we were staying one day. And this young kid had just gotten off the train and was like, fucking Bias. And Bias is like, fucking come here and that. And it's like, this is fucking Ciecmate. He's from the crew that's opening up for you guys. Well, Art of War opened up, but he's in the same crew as them and stuff. And it's like, he's working at Subway and he had a bag full of fucking sandwiches and shit.
What, this kid or?
Ciecmate.
Oh,
so
Ciecmate.
He's like fucking everybody hungry, fucking handing them out and shit. And we're just like, oh, cool. And then, we did the show and they got up with Art of War and that. And like the next day he was like, fucking, you want to come hang out? So I think Graphic was going to visit family in like somewhere out in the sticks. So he went, and me and Tomo went and hung out with, like Hospice Crew, Art of War, and we recorded that day, and that was the one that we finished. Graphic did his verse back in Perth, and the other guys did theirs, but then it just didn't see the light of day. Yeah, it's one of those lost. Fucking probably heaps everywhere.
Yeah, man, that's crazy to think about. That there's just would be so much of that, just like on computers and songs that never came out.
Yeah,
man, that's.
Although Clandestien, we were pretty like focused and pretty concise. A lot of the stuff we did, we just knew how to do it to the quality that we wanted. There wasn't a lot of fucking around of like, oh, this song, cut that song, it's not good enough, not good enough. You know, we kind of had a economy of working that we didn't have a lot of surplus tracks left over.
Why you got such a big discography, right?
Yeah, probably as well, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
But it wasn't that we were like, oh, if we'd done it, we have to put it out. It's like, it had to be good. So there was some things that were like, you know, very early on in working on something, you're like, no, this is not working. It's not good. Don't worry about it. Just fucking try something else. So
yeah,
that's probably more stuff like that. Whereas like one person's verse on a beat and then nobody else did it, you know, because it was like, someone's like, yeah, I'm not really feeling the beat. And they're like, okay, no worries. So that track's just,
I noticed that off the recent one.
Dump it.
The fucking, yeah, Napalm Psalms. The production on that's pretty different.
That's because it's not me.
Who is it?
Rob Shaker.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Shaker did the whole thing. I was like, I've done it so many times where I've had to produce an album and be the MC, all that stuff, you know. And I was just like, Shaker, fucking, do you just want to produce an album for me? Because I want to do something over someone else's beats and not have the burden of having to, like, it's almost like halving the workload. And I like Shaker. He's a great fucking beat maker, you know, obviously despite his, you know, handicaps, you know, as a person.
Do you mean the whole, like...
He's Asian.
Oh, okay, yeah. I
didn't want to bring it up, but yeah.
Well, that's probably
the
handicap side of things. That's why you like jiu-jitsu probably so much.
Like, yeah, well, no, I think rolling with men's probably the main motivation.
So he's got
there.
So he's like gay and Asian. Gaysian.
Nice.
I
mean, at the time it really was a diversity hire for me. I thought I've just been working with white dudes a lot, you know. Clandestine's pretty white.
It actually is very white.
Pretty white.
Almost a little too white sometimes.
Well, yeah. So,
yeah. Well, I respect you, Rob. Please come on the podcast.
Yeah, so I was like, I don't want to be called out on this later down the track and be cancelled. So I thought I better get, you know, a person of colour involved. I mean, he's only half Asian. He's not full, so it's like,
okay, yeah, there we go.
It's not on the nose. Yeah. It's like he still understands me, you know, English and all that stuff.
Yeah, you understand him. I get it. Yeah.
No, he's a fucking, you know, he's one of my best friends, I guess, and yeah, he's really good at what he does. He's got a great ear and good feedback as well. He's not like, oh, just whatever you do is good. It's great. He's like, nah, you can do it better. You know, when you're in the booth, it's like, just run it again, you know. Whereas some people are like, you should know, you know what you're doing. I don't want to get in the way.
Yeah.
Particularly because I'm such a important figure.
Yeah. Prolific
rap artist. Prolific artist. Yeah. And, you know, obviously, you know, have legendary status. All the people below me sometimes turn into yes men.
Yeah.
But not Rob. But I think that's because he's just, because of his background, he doesn't know how to bow down properly to the white man.
Oh, okay. Morgan, you can go ahead and cut this out, this stuff.
Nah. I always tease Rob about it.
No, look,
he knows I love him.
I think there's multiple things with that as well, man. I don't. Rob's probably where I've heard the best feedback, just in general, from anyone I've ever spoken to. Has nothing but good things to say about him. I've worked with Rob, and he does incredible work. But also, for what you've said, and like as we talked about this, you know, the discography and everything you've done, working with Daz on the Grand Lodge. You've produced some stuff yourself. Getting
another diversity hire, Daz. The brown skin was like, me and Ciecmate, we don't want another white person doing production. You know,
I don't actually know what ethnicity Daz is, so I've got no idea what point.
Burmese background.
Okay, all right, yeah. Is that interesting? That's okay.
Yeah, so jungle Asian. You know. So I think Shaker's more city Asian.
Okay, so Daz is more like the like they're kind of yeah.
Well, no, just out in the paddy field.
Paddy field. Oh, okay.
I don't know.
You said jungle, so I was like,
I like, darker
okay.
tones.
Yeah, okay.
Jungle agent. Then you've got the,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I like it. Yeah, we've
it goes from Japanese down to like Indian. I
Does
guess.
it start at Japanese? Is that like?
Well, if you ask the Japanese, they would say we're number one. And it works down. It goes Korea, then whatever. I don't know. There is a ranking system. Not for me. I didn't decide it. I just adhere to the rules.
We're going to cut it together, so it sounds like you don't make snippets out of this, Morgan. All right, just let it be part of the podcast. So,
but yeah.
Well, so who else is? Because you've produced these albums. Daz has worked on one with you. Rob Shaker has. Has anyone else produced any of the work you've done?
Only mostly like features and stuff. I think Mortar Symphony has a couple of Daz beats on it. Because I used to live right near him, so we'd hang out a lot, and it's like I don't want to doing all these beats. Fucking chuck us a couple, sit down, pick the ones I like. I think we worked on one together, but he got the credit for production, even though I was telling him what to do. But you've got to let the egos sometimes have a bit of, boost them a bit.
Yeah, you do. You do.
Because, sometimes they need a bit of a hand. Okay,
Yeah.
Daz, how about if you do this? And then but you can pretend you did it. You can have that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, so mostly some of the feature stuff and some of the stuff on Weapons Grade was produced by other people. Like there's a Suffer beat, Taunts did one.
The Suffer beat, I didn't know he did production.
Suffer is the main producer in Hoods.
I thought
Debris.
Yeah, I thought Debris.
No, Suffer does most of the production.
Oh,
Debris is really good on the technical side of production.
Okay.
Like all the whiz bang stuff to use and how to get things sounding really good and stuff. I believe he's more that guy, like the techie sort of guy as well. But Suffer's kind of, from my understanding, from what I've seen, is sort of the head producer dude. He's the one that spearheads stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
She said what, a Suffer beat, and who else did you say?
Taunts did a beat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Torch is on Weapons Grade, isn't he?
Yeah, that's the beat that he did.
Oh, so he did the beat for Weapons Grade.
He did the beat and then did the rap, and then we did the rest.
Yeah, so you've got K21 on here as well.
K21 did the beat.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, and I met him because when I was in Adelaide, he was like 16 or something. Would used to come around, hang out around the older guys and stuff at Beats' house, which was like a focal gathering point in Hallock Cove. And so he used to come around all the time, and I met him through that. Like, he was young and dumb and doing stupid shit just to try and ingratiate himself to an older generation, I guess, and was just happened to be pretty good at making beats and rapping.
He's a good rapper, yeah. I talked about this the other day. I won't tell the story again, but I met K21 back in the day, and he was honestly one of the friendliest dudes I've ever met.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe
chill, man.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
So it's always good when you have that experience. But there's people on there. I mean, like, I often wonder where Defier went. I don't know if Defier still makes music, but I remember.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of DJing because he's a DJ.
Yeah, it was always.
So he's doing a lot of DJing stuff, and I think he does a lot of stuff in the drum and bass field and that sort of stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
So he's actually quite prolific, but just not often in the hip hop scene as much now.
Yeah. Well, it'd always be hard for people, I think, when you're doing that much production and you're trying to rap. Like, it'd be hard to you sort of have to pick one to be the better one out. We mentioned Flash One before, and you were sort of mentioning how he's a bit of a. So, like, because I just couldn't find anything on him.
There is nothing.
Is he just a friend of yours, or
he is a friend? Actually, he's from Sydney. I met him on tour in Sydney, and at a gig, had a chat, all sorts of stuff. He then came to Perth and ended up crashing with me and Tomo when Tomo and I shared a house, and crashing in the living room for quite a while. And eventually, he was one of the best men at my wedding with Hunter. And he was just a big fan of music, really into it, had a real good knowledge of rap, was writing stuff, doing a little bit of stuff before he sort of met us on that. But yeah, we were just like, fucking just get on a track, do it. Because he could write really good stuff, and he was just, I think he lacked a bit of confidence in stepping to the mic and actually getting a lot of stuff down. But we G'd him up and we're like, do it, you fuckhead, you know?
Yeah.
Just fucking do it, bro. Don't be a pussy.
Well, I mean, it's not. He's good. He's in it like quite a few tracks.
He's a really fucking good MC.
Yeah.
But those are the only things you'll ever find of him, and there is no fingerprint on the internet other than those couple of tracks.
Because he's sort of one of those people that doesn't
just. There's nothing. He wasn't about promoting himself as a rapper or anything.
Yeah.
It was like he just did it for the fun of doing it on the day, sort of thing, you know.
I noticed some people are like full, like no social media or anything. Like they're just not interested, completely off the grid.
Yeah.
Which is, I've noticed you don't have Instagram, do you?
I do. Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Don't use it though.
I was going to say because I didn't see it on there. Yeah. Yeah. No, well, it's more so. Obviously, when you try, like, it's annoying because you try to find stuff about people, and this can be such a hard segment to research for, because some people, like you said, are similar to Flash or yourself or anything, where there is stuff, but you just
it's not yeah.
It's not tons of it. It's not the same as if you looked at someone else, right? So I want to play a little bit of a game in a moment.
Oh, game!
A little bit of a game. We'll play it now, and then you've got a story for me afterwards. There is a prize.
Okay.
I'm not going to say what it is.
Oh, okay.
There is a prize. We'll chuck the headphones on so you can hear. I've got lyrics to read to you.
Yep.
I got 4 or 5 of them, and you're going to tell me who said them, and if you can tell me the song they're off, you get extra points.
Okay.
Which will be like 300 tickets on a time zone card that can't get you fuck all. But you should still be motivated by that.
Time zone's pretty sweet, bro.
I reckon time zone's pretty sweet too, bro. Damn, I want one of those slinky things.
Oh, yeah.
Those sticky hands.
That's all you can get for like 300 points.
Yeah, but those sticky hands were sick back in the day. You know? Or like a basketball hoop you can play on the toilet.
Oh, yeah.
So if you get it correct, we're going to hit you with this. All right. All good. And if you do it wrong, you feel bad about yourself for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And this is while you're thinking.
Oh, okay.
I know, super intense. So here's what we have. I have the first lyric. I'm trying to cut them so they're not too obvious. I'm sick to death of being positive like HIV. Who said it?
I have no idea.
Good, because I was worried you're going to get all these straight away. So you're not even going to try and guess. It's an Australian hip hop artist. I'm going to make it slightly more simple. You've made music with this person.
Oh, is it Hunter?
That sounds kind of like a Hunter one, but it's not. I'll give you one more guess.
Fuck. Oh, Matty B.
No, it's not Matty.
No.
Fuck.
You
ready?
Yeah. Oh, I was going to say Hoods. I was like, it kind of sounds like something they might drop in somewhere, but also,
It's, I don't know,
pressure.
They're pretty clean sometimes, so it's hard to, every now and then, you kind of forget that they will drop stuff like that, because they don't a lot in their own music, they don't. That's because that's on Funkor's album. That's Body Count.
Oh, okay, yeah. So there is a different
aesthetic.
There
is, yeah. That's not getting played.
The kids aren't going to hear it.
No, it's not on Cosby Sweater. That one.
Oh, yeah.
So the next one is. All right, I'm trying to.
If I had known there was a quiz, I would have studied up on my rap.
No, but then I
don't listen to it anymore.
Well, you've. I'm trying to pick ones I feel like you definitely would have heard, but I've thrown some hard ones in there.
Reel them all off. I'll have a crack at anyone.
Okay, here you go. Here you can pat a stingray and maybe cop a stab in the chest.
Fucks. It kind of sounds like Billy Bunks or Taunts.
Is that your final answer? I'd let you phone a friend, but
They probably wouldn't know either.
they wouldn't know. Don't call Matty B.
Oh, yeah, nah. I don't know, yeah.
All right. Oh, wrong. I know it doesn't. It's not a good sound. It's not a good sound. This one, it'll be
Who was it?
And gold bling or getting capped in his steps. Here you can pat a stingray and maybe get a stab in the chest.
Evil Eddie. He used to be the lead singer of Butterfingers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I cannot say I've listened to the album at all.
that's fine. I didn't think you would have because the thing is I had to make it versatile because if I threw all SBX onto here, you probably would have got him. But I am trying to make him. I'm diversifying a little bit. Guess who's back like doggy style on a blind date? Love this line.
Dazastah.
Hey,
That's just a disaster line, you know.
Guess he's back like doggy style on the blind date. Dazastah.
It's from an album.
it's
too.
from your album.
That's probably why I knew it.
Yeah,
I didn't know what song it was, but I'm like, that's Daz. I know it.
it's if you didn't get it, then I would have been surprised. But that is a big song too, though.
It's pretty monster. Yeah.
It's a monstrous song. This one I've written it down, but I don't know if I've got a word or two wrong. So just bear with me.
Okay.
Bomb sets like Don Cheadle crash scenes.
Oh, that's me.
Oh, fuck. I knew you were going to get it straight away. Look at that. Straight away he was going to get it. But I did it to Matty and he didn't know.
Text tested to check for wrecking needles. Bomb sets, crash scenes like Don Cheadle.
There we go.
Yeah.
Crash scenes like Don Cheadle.
Because the movie Crash,
Good. Don Cheadle's
Don Cheadle's in it.
Yeah. Yes. I love...
Yeah.
Could you go deeper into that line? Could you explain that line further?
But not really. I mean, I bomb shit. Obviously, means I'm really good at rapping.
Not terrorism.
Not terrorism. No,
Yeah.
no. Yeah, that's
Separate.
on the side. You know, I don't want to get into it.
Yeah.
Crash scenes. The movie Crash.
And
Don Cheadle was in it.
there's a scene.
Obviously, he has scenes in it, and I believe the whole movie is about 3 or 4 different car crashes.
There's crashes. Yeah.
And everybody in the movie has a crash.
Mm-hmm.
I think, yeah. And so it's just like, well, crash scenes. I
Mhm.
crash a scene. Obviously, the rap scene.
Mm.
I crash it. Don Cheadle,
Yeah. Because Don Cheadle meeting.
the actor.
Yeah. This is one of those situations where everyone listening's going to be annoyed that I pursued to explain that. And I just wanted to really draw it out.
Whereas most people
Clicked.
straight away like, oh yeah,
Clicked on. But to me, I heard Don Cheadle and was like, I wonder if that's the Don Cheadle that I'm aware of.
there is only one Don Cheadle.
No, well, there's Don Cheadle, and he made the
Cheadle?
guy that invented Cheezels. Yeah, look into that story. 100% fact.
Well, it wasn't him.
Okay, cool.
I've only just recently found out about him.
Yeah. It's well, you can there's look into it in your own time.
Okay, no.
I'll
go back and take notes.
Yeah, definitely do that.
Don Cheadle.
If you had to, this is a last one, but this is one I'm not going to read to you. But if you had to say an iconic line from an SBX member or anyone that you can think of, like what's an iconic line that you think someone in the crew said? One that's always kind of you've just liked,
like a pie in the microwave.
It's too fucking
yeah,
soft.
too fucking soft.
Yeah.
It is somehow one of the best lines, while also being one of the worst lines at the same time.
Yeah.
It occupies a space that a lot of other stuff doesn't, where you go, it's so fucking stupid that it's kind of brilliant.
Mm.
And I think that was part of Hunter's appeal, was that he'd say stuff that you're like, what the fuck? Like, why are you saying that? But it's also like, it's really fucking good.
Yeah.
So it's just the thing that comes to my mind every time I think about lyrics is stuff like, I would never say that. It's just something I wouldn't think of. And it's just so out. It's just such a simple concept, but it's so good at the same time. And yeah.
The delivery on it's good though too.
It's just one of those things you're like, they're so bad, but it's so good.
Yeah. If you're not familiar, yeah, like a pie in the microwave, you're too fucking soft.
Who's Hunter? Yeah.
Hunter on the Scylla Squad on Draft's album Who Am I has Clandestine and MJ on it. I was going to reference your Nick Cage line in that song, but I felt, to me, that felt like a song you were familiar with and you've probably played a couple of times. I was like, I feel like you'll remember that too easy.
What did I say about Nick Cage in it? A face off, like Nick Cage or something.
Yeah.
We could face off
I
like
didn't,
Nick Cage.
I didn't write it down, but yeah, I was like, I feel like he'll get that. And especially when it's that, even the Don Cheadle line, I was like, but I didn't want to try to pick one that was super insignificant just so you wouldn't get it. Because the Don Cheadle line.
None of my lines are insignificant.
Of course not.
I remember all of them. Intricate. No, I don't know.
I was going to say, I wish I'd picked one you didn't remember.
Fucking hot. It's probably a heap of stuff. I'd be like, that's a pretty hot line. I wish I'd written that. And you'd be like, you did.
Well, I reckon we'll wait a couple more years and you'll be like that. Yeah. Well, this.
Who's that? Oh, this young chap's really, really hot.
Yeah, Roseville, is that Mike Midas?
It's fucking dope, hey. Have you heard? Oh, I haven't heard this guy.
I haven't heard this. Is that the Hood Hilltops?
The Hoods from the Hilltops.
The Hilltoppers?
With the jibber and the jabber and the Cosbys and the sweaters.
That's Bill Cosby and the Hilltoppers. Sounds like a...
Oof.
It's not, yeah. Well, this was, I don't know if it's going to play properly. This was one of mine.
Said, hurricane, twist up, a piss drunk, gotta get a peps me, cause I'm such a seacon. Said,
yeah, that was one of my favorite iconic SBX member lines was Daz. There had to be two ones in there, but it's because when I was looking for another song, I was reminded of Calm Before the Storm. And then when I was talking to someone last time, I knew I was going to put his Doggy Style line in, and then they went, the Paps Meal line, you got to put that in there. Okay. And it is a good line.
Oh, yeah. Daz is fucking incredible.
A good rapper for someone who's never made a solo album.
Yeah. Well, he did Dundee L with Hunter. That's a collab, but it's kind of like, that's heavy on him rapping.
Woody Woodpecker was like a memorable one for me, or like just that, I don't know, that album in general was like, the way they did the documentary, I love how they used the album in that documentary. I remember, like, I always get like goosebumps when the start happens and they play, EOL, and it's got that kind of uplifting intro, and I was like, this is cool.
It's fucking makes you, makes you feel stuff.
It's well, I mean, it would have been crazy. Well, we can take this off now. It would have been crazy for you, man, being so close as well, and like, you know, I did the whole thing at the time where it's here. It is sitting here somewhere. I don't know exactly where it is. Might be behind there. I donated to the thing, and then you got the thing sent to you in the mail, like the proper DVD of the For the Record thing. And then I came to the screening in Perth when they all did it. And my brother at the time he was on the up. He was in like remission, but he'd had cancer, and he came with me and we watched it together. And so it was a bit of a thing for us. And like he's like a real straight face. He still denies it now, but he got upset watching it. And so it was a really cool thing at the time for me to like be able to go, and I'd been such a big fan of SBX. And then so when that happened, it was just like documentary. Oh man, I must have watched it like fucking 25 times. And it's the only thing we have in the piece of, I don't know, Perth hip hop to me, where it's like that high quality. Yeah. Of like documentation of what you guys did.
Yeah, it is really, I guess. There's nothing else like it.
No, there really isn't, yeah. It's a crazy, it must have been an interesting thing to be a part of for you.
Yeah, it was great to be able to talk about a friend and be able to, you know, say how good they were and all the stuff, which you wouldn't probably normally say if they were still around anyway. Like, I'm talking about that. But it was weird, because it's like he's gone. So,
but you got to make that album together, which is like, to me, that has such a different sound to either of your music, which I loved.
Yeah,
like I love that, man. That album, the sampling that album is still one of my favorites out of all Australian hip hop albums, because the theme of the album, I love how you guys dressed up when you did the lives. It was just such a cool concept, man. Like,
well, we'd started working on it quite a lot earlier, and it just kind of one of those things that kind of like stop and start, get rid of stuff. Okay, let's do this, stop and start. And it wasn't until he got diagnosed and he was like, okay, no fucking around, let's do this properly. And I was like, okay, cool. Because I'd gone through a pretty rough patch at that time as well. I'd actually, had a lot of problems with gut issues and well, still I have all my life, but gut issues and a terrible, terrible anxiety and depression. And I'd just been going through it and only just really got diagnosed with stuff and actually medicated, which I'd never been before. And so I was going through this fucking, I call it it's like a nightmare of the soul, dark night of the soul, you know. And I remember he'd gone to fucking Melbourne or something, and he was doing a gig, and he felt really sick there, and he went to the hospital, and then they told him that's when he had cancer. I'm like, I did some tests, and we're like, okay. So he called me from Melbourne, was like, bro, I've got fucking pancreatic cancer. And I was like, because I was fucking in a wreck myself, and I was just like, what the fuck? What the fuck does that mean? Like, what do they do? And he's like, not much, nothing really. I was like, oh fuck, it's like, yeah. And then it didn't take the wind out of his sails. It almost like super motivated him to be like, well, they're telling me I only got this amount of time. So I got to, there is no tomorrow. There is today. We do it now. We do everything now. So he did everything he could, like, to make the most of every day with his family, with making music, putting out stuff. He was like, I want to do an album with this person. I want to fucking make an album for Canteen. And, it's like, it just changed him in a way that he said it. He was like, it was kind of the best, but it's weird saying it, but it's like, it was one of the best things that happened to him, he said, at the time. Because he was like, it just removes all the bullshit. Everything that's superfluous that's non-essentially important just doesn't matter anymore. There's just no need for it. You don't fuck around. You really, really focus on what you want to be, like, important to you at that time. Like, it super focuses you. And one of the things was, making an album, finishing this album that we'd started. And so we did it, and it was really good. And it was given 6 months, and he lasted 2 years from the initial diagnosis. And I think part of it was because he was like, I've got all this stuff to do. Now I've got all this stuff. I can't be going in 6 months. I need more time.
Mm.
And, it was really great to be able to make an album. And it wasn't a sob story about, oh, poor bugger me. It was just like, get in there, fucking smash it, do the best job we can. Like, it wasn't about like, oh, I've got cancer, fucking poor bugger me, It was like, fucking just do it like we normally would make an album. And, it's one of the things I look back on is like, it was a great experience, because it really, really brought us together a lot more, I guess, as well, because we had to spend a lot of time together. That wasn't time where previously, like, particularly through the early 2000s, it was like we'd spend a lot of time together, but it was always about drinking and stuff and hanging out and partying. Whereas this sort of was like quite a lot later in our relationship, and it was more friends making an album together. Yeah.
Would have been about, I guess, him thinking, he's leaving something behind, and then for you, you're creating something with him. You're going to be around, but for you, it's that you're kind of doing it for different reasons, but similar reasons.
Yeah,
and that's like that. That's why I find it unique, and like, I guess to me, it has a sound to it that it's just so different. You know what I mean? And it's different. You as you said, you were older.
Yeah.
So that's a different. It's a maturity thing too. The music's mature. There's some really interesting samples in it, and just song choices. Even the features were just cool because it was just like it's such a I don't know. You're not just putting an album together and trying to get anyone on it. You would have been very selective about who was on it.
Well, it wasn't just a collection of songs. It was actually like, I'm a big fan of Hunter S. Thompson as a writer, and the Johnny Depp movie. Fucking love it. And it has an incredible soundtrack, which a lot of stuff was lifted from the soundtrack of the movie. If you watch the movie and you're very familiar with the album, you'll be like, oh, that beat comes from there, that track, this one, that. There's a few other things we had to take from the era, that sort of style. And, but yeah, it was really heavily, influenced by that a particular movie. Was sort of like the blueprint, I guess, of like the thematically going into it.
That stuff's always cool when it's done right, man. The theme,
So it wasn't just like, oh, let's just make a bunch of songs and put them out. It was like all the songs have to be somehow linked back sonically to the same source, sort of thing, like and fit together, like they sound like it's almost like cinematically a movie in itself, sort of thing. Yeah.
This podcast is sponsored by Bulk Gym Chalk. Do you struggle to hold on to your deadlifts? If so, it can be very important to make sure that you have good quality chalk and access to that chalk. So go to Bulk Gym Chalk. You can find them on Instagram and get yourself some good quality chalk so that you can make sure that you can train in the gym and get the best out of your training while doing so.
Do you have maybe not? I'm sure you like the whole album, but do you have like a favorite track off it? Is it the kind of album you can? Probably not, but do you have one that you'll just really like?
I don't know. It's so hard. They're all like my babies. I can't pick one. Sophie's Choice here.
Yeah, it's I really like. Is it
changes as well depending on how you feel in the situation and that,
It would do, yeah. I like Love and Fear. Is it Love and Fear? Have I got that name right? It is Love and Fear, isn't it? I think that one's just Hunter.
Yeah.
Is it Love and Fear? Yeah, because it's hard to. It's only on Bandcamp, that one, isn't it? It's not Spotify.
Yes, no, it's not at the moment.
Yeah,
there's an issue. Well, I got to sort it out.
Is it samples or?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fair enough. If it's not one you want to.
Brave New World's not up because of samples.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's annoying.
It was a strike, and so against one track.
And you can't talk about it?
Thank you, ABBA. Well, the record label that ABBA's on didn't like that we'd obviously used a sample of ABBA.
Wow. Did you have to speak to someone about it?
No, they just put a strike against it. Bang. TuneCore, who's the aggregate distributor of the album, took it down, gave us the here's why it's down, and then I was in the process of rectifying it, and then they don't like the artwork either.
Really? Why?
Because it's a graphic violence. There's a boot stepping on a head.
Yeah, hardly.
It's
animated.
1984 boot stomping on a head, and it goes against community standards apparently now. Though it had been up for fucking ever, they obviously now have different criteria. Because I guess they don't want kids getting on fucking Spotify and looking at the artwork and like, oh, mommy, what's this?
Yeah, because kids can't go on Instagram on Reels and see someone die in a truck accident. Every single day, mate, I can't even scroll Reels without seeing someone get caught on fire.
That's it.
Well,
what's this Chinese worker doing? Oh,
yeah,
that machine just ate him.
Yeah, there's like compilations of that stuff, and I'm like, bro, I don't want to see this many mechanical accidents. It freaks me out.
Yeah, it's like, fuck, jeez.
I don't even want to check the oil in my car now.
That's it. So, it was there.
That's interesting, yeah, because I would have thought Tomo would have got done. I suppose he doesn't put a lot of his stuff up, but a bitch named HipHop has a lot of samples in it. That one or two specifically, I remember that I would have thought would have got done.
Yeah, there's a
what is it? The I hate you or something like that, but I love you or whatever. That one has got Baby Doll. Yeah, I can't remember who did that song back in the day, but I was always like, "Fuck, you think they would have?" Just because of the content of his music, if they heard that, you'd think they'd be like, "Oh, nah."
But it's all depends when it's uploaded and who it was uploaded through. I think nowadays there's a lot more algorithm stuff that trawls through things and goes, that's from that. and that is rights are owned by that.
Yeah.
And
It's probably going to get worse too.
Record labels are doing it, scanning stuff, going, where can we get rid of people sampling stuff? Or if it's really, really popular and actually making money, how can we get that money for us? You know, because ABBA need more money. They need that clandestine money.
Yeah. Fucking, it's hip hop, mate. Samples is the way.
Life's expensive in Sweden.
Life is expensive
In Sweden, man.
You're not wrong.
You know?
Yeah, it's true. I just thought of a line. I don't know if I've got it correctly. Tomahawk says, I came here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum. I think he says that.
Mm.
That was a line I just remembered, actually, in terms of an iconic one I could think of.
Yeah. You seen the movie They Live?
They Live?
They Live.
No, I have not, no.
Okay, the main character is played by Rowdy Roddy Piper, the
wrestler?
the wrestler. He's the main character. He finds these pair of glasses that when you put them on, it takes all the filters that the world has off. So he sees what the billboards actually say. So they say like obey, you know, money is God, everything. There's just all this stuff in the world it's filtering out this false hologram reality, and he's seeing the world for what it truly is. And there are people walking around as humans that are actually like kind of reptilian looking weird sort of aliens. So there's been an alien invasion and they're integrated amongst humans, and there's this whole mind control thing going on. But these glasses, he's able to put them on and it removes all those filters that are there.
So everyone's like Joe Biden.
So it's like, yeah, Joe, but if you saw Joe
people
at the time, I mean, it was like, you know, you would see a person, they're a person, they're on the TV reading the news, and you put the glasses on, and then you'd see that it was not a human, it was this other race of people or whatever they were, you know, aliens. And, you know, he starts seeing them everywhere because he's wearing these glasses, and he's like, we've got to change, you know, it's like his whole paradigm shifted of like, he was just a construction worker doing his job. Next minute, he gets his glasses and he's like, fuck. None of this reality is real. We're all being manipulated and controlled. And he wants to fight back. And there's a scene, he goes into, I think there's a bank. And he's cocked his shotgun and he goes, I came here to chew gum, to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of gum. And then he's like, blah, blah, you know, pumping shots into these fucking alien dudes and stuff. And so that's where that line's from.
I need to watch that. That sounds awesome. I didn't know that existed, man. Yeah.
Oh, it's really wild out there. But Tomo and I loved the movie. We fucking referenced it a lot and liked it. And so he just drops it, just straight jacks that line.
Fuck.
And it's like, it's a cool line, but if you don't know where it's from, then you're like,
you're only half getting it.
Yeah, but now you know there's a backstory to it. It's not just, he's not just throwing out a line, oh, I'm here to chew gum and kick ass and chew gum and I'm all out of gum.
Well, now I can watch the movie as well because I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah. Because we were always big on referencing stuff, like obscure stuff or weird things. And so you hear lines and you're like, oh, it sounds cool. And then if you know what it's about, you're like, there's a whole nother.
Was that even a Peter
level.
Petrelli line, right? Some people, just because they haven't seen Heroes, they're going to miss out.
Cool line, sounds all right, yeah.
Well, it's not an overly complicated line, but as soon as if you've seen Heroes straight away, you're like, oh, that's clever.
Oh, Peter Petrelli.
Yeah.
Try to steal my style like Peter Petrelli, because Peter Petrelli goes around, touches people, he's got their style.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. All the Eastbound and Down line, even just that was just cool, you know what I mean? And it's like a lot of people, but I feel like I'm just too bad. Me and Andrew talked about this again the other day, like pop culture references. Seth Century does heaps of them.
Yeah.
Sometimes it makes a verse really interesting. Yeah. Like, you know, it doesn't have to all be about that stuff, but it's cool that you guys have that, I guess, backing of it. I want to get into that a little bit more and we can nerd out before we finish because I definitely am interested.
Yeah.
But I just before we move on, two things. I did not pay the song Backcountry enough love.
Okay.
Initially, not for any reason other than just I think I just really like all the, not solo, but just the either because I really liked Love and Fear, and then Expecting to Fly. Learning to Fly is the, or is it Expecting to Fly? The one with the whistle. Is that Expecting to Fly?
Expecting to Fly.
Expecting
Learning
to
to Fly is another track on there.
Yeah, they're
And
both.
that's Pink Floyd, Learning to Fly. Josh, don't tell the
Algorithm.
algorithms, but yeah, that's a sample from
Pink Floyd's coming
Pink
up.
Floyd's Learning to Fly is sort of the sample, yeah.
Learning to, when I think Learning to Fly, Learn to Fly, I think of Foo Fighters. I think so. It's just confusing my brain. But yeah, I paid a lot of attention to those ones. But Backcountry's, who made the beat for that?
I did.
Fuck, the beat is sick on that song, man.
I made all the beats on Fair Enough.
You made the whole, But I don't know what it's that. That's just fuck. That's cool, man. I really like that. It makes someone's verse sound even, and it's almost like yous all wrote to that. It's almost like when that kicks in, yous all step your verse up a notch because of how sick it fucking sounds.
And it's like basically just 4 bars of that real heavy horns, and then it goes into 4 bars of that sort of laid back sort of.
It's like drum kick.
Yeah, sort of percussion-y driven. And it's like this same song that it was sampled from, but huge juxtaposition of what the sound is. So as soon as you pair it back, it kind of gives the MC room to breathe and sort of lay back a little bit. And then those horns kick back in, and it's just like, yeah, as you're writing to it, you're like, oh yeah, where it's like, okay, fuck. That the intensity's turned up. So you automatically turn up your intensity of what you're writing, or even just when you're recording it, you're like, when that sort of change hits, that your vocals are,
Yeah, really popping. Yeah. It sounds sick, man. I was just like, it's once again, I think it was just because of the album and the theme and what it was about and stuff or whatever. I guess I didn't pay the features as much love because the other ones just like had a place for me where I just like that. You know what I mean? Sometimes I'm like straight to the features. To me, if I'm straight to the features on an album, this is fun. If I'm straight to the features on your album, I don't like you that much. That sounds fucked, but sometimes I'm straight away like, oh, they made 3 songs with this person, this person, this person. If they're the first things I listen to, it means that I don't like your solo shit that much.
Yeah, I've done that to people too. I've gone like, or you listen to one and you're like, I just want to get to the feature.
Yeah.
You're like, you sit through one song and you're like, kind of want to hear what this dude's doing.
Yeah.
And then you like flick through and then you find out they're the only ones you keep playing. And it's like, this poor sucker made a whole album. And you're playing like 3 songs off it.
Yeah.
Because you're like the other people. Yeah.
That happens a bit. And it's like, I can't, if I could think of an example, I maybe wouldn't use it because it's maybe not funny to that person. But I'm excited to listen to that Graphic album just quickly because I remember
when it was
when
only ever on vinyl. There's no other way of hearing it. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Like kind of old school of him to. Is that a choice he made? Obviously.
Yeah, he was writing stuff and he's like, I want to put out a fucking, an EP vinyl fucking thing, whatever you're calling it. I don't know, 12-inch or something, whatever.
Yeah.
Fucking and he just had 3 tracks aside. I think it is.
Yeah, sick.
And it was put out by Enough Said Records in Melbourne, just through him talking to them, and then like fucking whoop, put it out,
Yeah, sick.
So it was kind of like a little, like he did it all himself, offshoot. I didn't do any production on it. I think it's obscure producers did it stuff,
Are you on it or is it all solo?
No, I don't think I'm on it. I think it's all just solo Graphic. I think Tomo does a verse on it, maybe.
Do you think we'll ever
I
see
can't remember.
another Clandestine song? Do you think we'll ever hear one?
Probably not. No.
No?
Nah.
That's pretty much it, you reckon?
Oh, I think that's why we did the vinyl box set, because we knew it was like Brave New World was kind of a really great finish, I think, as well. It's a fucking monster album. It's one of my favorite. Dynasty and Brave New World are my 2. They're the shining sort of examples of what we did that I really think were great. And I think just doing that and then bookending it with a box set vinyl release, it was kind of our way of saying, that's it.
I'm keen
Because you don't want to be like, say, we'll save doing a box set till we got something else. It's like, but this is all we're going to do. So there you go. Have that. See you later, fellas.
Yeah.
There's fucking enough albums to people to listen to.
Oh, there absolutely is. I guess I was curious. Do you think you'll ever make any other songs with the boys, like just like solo? Just you and Graphic, or you and Tom? Like, do you just think in the future you'd like to make one more, or are you happy with where it's at?
Look, if it happened, I wouldn't be mad. But I just think we're at different places in our lives and doing different things, and that we're not hanging out together. We're not young and have time to just dedicate to making music, and it's kind of like, it's just one of those things.
You'd almost be forced.
Yeah, or to be like, forced. You'd be like, have to make a decision. This is what we're going to do. Whereas before it was very organic, natural. It was like, this is what we're doing. It's the natural progression of this album to that album to this album to that album. Whereas now to be like kind of like trying to force a wedge something in there just to have it, and it might not be as genuine as all the rest of the stuff.
I like that, man. Yeah, no, that's a good way to. If you, because like I said, I haven't heard all of this one. If I'm going into it, I'm going to listen to obviously all of it, but probably the features first. But no, what's the song on Brave New World for me to like? What's your favorite song if you have one?
The one that ABBA took down was pretty fucking banging.
Which one was that? Did it have a feature on it or not?
You Flash One's on that one.
So that's either
he is pissed off about because he's on 2 tracks on that album, and one of them is gone
forever.
Well, because of the strike, it's not. Well, none of it's up, but it's going to be like when it goes back up, it won't be that song on there.
Hardcore Pandemonium, or is it?
That's it. Hardcore Pandemonium.
That's the ABBA one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Room 101's the other one he's on. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So okay.
Hardcore Pandemonium. The whole. Oh man, this. The idea of it was to rape that. I don't know if you can say it. Grape was to rape the 80s for music. It was like every beat has to be sampled or elements from the 80s. Because I grew up in the 80s. I love 80s music. All that shitty pop, synth, new romantic stuff. It's fucking dope. And I just wanted it to sound kind of like that, but hardcore. So it sounds a lot different to a lot of other clan stuff, I guess, but still clandestine. But yeah, the whole idea was to just really zone in on this particular era of music that sounded this particular way and take it and tear it apart and put it back together better.
Mm.
And
you said you produced all of that.
Yeah, I produced the whole thing. Yeah.
And how do the boys react? Like when it comes to like Graphic and Tom, when you play a beat, are they just for the most part? Are they just
dope? So
of course, right? But are they
just handy that they're like, oh yeah, kind of. Oh yeah, fucking hell, yeah, I remember this shit. Yeah.
Well, it's good that they just for them they're like, fuck yeah, sweet.
Yeah.
He makes all the beats. We just have to rap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we were me and Tomo had a very similar music taste of earlier stuff like that, so he was down from day one of like, this is what it should sound like. Yeah, cool, no worries. And Graphic was just like, yeah, well, if that's what we're doing it. As long as it sounds good, If it sounded shit, I'd be like, nah, it's not really working.
But you produce Tom shit, or he's a producer as well, right? Tom?
No.
No? So a bitch named HipHop, was that you or?
Daz did all the production.
Oh, I did. Okay, because that's why Layla's on so much of it. Is it?
Yeah, Layla and Portia and Daz were it's kind of like a collaborative album almost, with Tomo at the sort of the captain of the ship, but it was still like a crew doing the whole thing. But it's his album, but it's very much like,
I have a question for that. I'll maybe play it to you afterwards, but for whatever reason, I don't know if it's just that version of the song on YouTube. Or maybe it was meant to be or whatever. The song A Bitch Named Hip... No, Every Corner, sorry. Every Corner has this thing where it sounds like someone's... I don't know what the name for it is. They're panning it left to right the whole time that the song's on, so it sounds like the song's being turned up and down all the time. I don't know if it's just the version. Maybe when I listen on CD, it won't be like that. But on the one on YouTube, sounds... Yeah, I'll have to show it to you and like maybe... my hearing's off, but yeah,
it wasn't. It shouldn't be like that.
No, well, I was wondering if
it might have been someone that uploaded it has fucked it up, and like
it could have been because I remember it used to piss me off. I was like, I like this song, but it's,
maybe it's phasing.
That's kind of what I meant. Yeah,
in and out of like,
you know, they do it to separate headphones. It's almost like that's what it was, and I was always like, I'll play it for you after.
But coming in and out on different ears.
Sounds like it's been like turned up and down. It's really strange. Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe they've...
That's not how it should be.
I didn't think so. Like
people put stuff up and they fuck shit up and you're like, what the fuck?
Well, yeah, you guys must get annoyed because there's heaps of SBX stuff or just Perth hip-hop stuff where it'll be like one of your songs will be uploaded by like P Underground 19 and it'll have like 500,000 views and it's like, cool, can't
No, I gave him permission.
Oh.
P Underground 19. 19 or 13? Which one?
Big
I know
Balls,
both.
Big Balls 48.
Big Balls 48 is the man. God,
yeah.
His curation of music is incredible.
Yeah, Big Balls is really in tune.
Yeah, he's got his ear to the street and his balls to the grindstone. I don't know, whatever.
Shout out to my client Sean, whose Instagram handle is actually Big Balls 87 and has been for years, and he refuses to change it because if you change it, man, another Big Balls will come in and take its place. So don't change it.
A man of principle.
He's a man of principle.
That's it. If all you have in this life is your word.
And your balls.
And your balls. You can't give them up if you've got them.
Especially if they're big.
And they're from 87.
Cherish them.
Yes.
Cherish
Why would you change?
I completely agree.
The world should change for you.
And your balls.
And your balls, yeah.
And your balls.
That's it, yeah.
You said you had a story before we started, and I can't remember. My two collaborations that I really, really love are Full Metal off Vents. Is off Hard to Kill?
Yeah.
With Trials and yourself. And then Daydreaming of a Killin' with Fun Calls and Vents. I just think you guys have a great sound together. And I really liked both those songs. You said you had a story about one of them.
Well, the story is that in late 2006, I was a bar manager and I fucking was really hating my life, my job at the time. And I was like, really good mates with Trials, and I'd been speaking to him and I was like, I fucking just want to quit this job. And he's like, fucking come to Adelaide. I think he said it jokingly, you know, and I was like, fuck yeah, should I? He's like, yeah, do it. And next minute I quit my job and I fucking drove from here to Adelaide. And I ended up crashing at Trials' place for about 5 months. And just living with Trials and being part of this, part of the Adelaide scene, because every weekend there was something on, there was gigs. It was really like a real vibrant time for shows and people being out and doing stuff. And people were just every weekend like, fucking, what the fuck is Mortar still doing here? Like, where the fuck, you know, because it's like he's from over there. He should be over there in Perth, but he's here. What's he doing here? You know, and it's like people just became used to me. I was like, oh, fucking, you know. Some people thought I was from Adelaide and were like, didn't know I was a Perth MC. They're like, oh, you're an Adelaide MC? Oh, yeah. And I'm like, nah, I was just lived there for 5 months. I fucking saw you all the time. And I'm like, nah. And so I crashed at Trials. And during that period was when Vents was making Hard to Kill. So he was recording in the laundry room of Trials' place. He had set up a little booth in fucking laundry. And so they'd do it through the night working on this album, and I'd go to bed and it'd be like my head was here and the laundry wall was here, and I'd just hear Vents shouting at me all night while I'm trying to sleep, you know, abusing me for, you know what I mean? Like just getting this probably subliminal stuff implanted. So
wait, so the whole album was recorded like that?
That was the period he was recording the album. Now, there's controversy because I'd used Charles's laptop, which was a Mac once. And then after that, he said that all of Vince's album was deleted. Well, I don't know how to delete anything on a Mac. I've never used it. I only use the internet. And so I got blamed for deleting Vince's album, which was hard to kill, which I didn't. I think Trials thought Vince could do a better job, and he deleted all the vocals and stuff so that he had to do them again. That's my theory. Trials is adamant that he didn't do anything and that I deleted them, even if by accident. But then it'll be like, well, I'd have to go in and delete them from the recycle bin. And I'd never used the Mac at that time. I was PC. And so I was like, there was something fishy going on. Vince was mad because he's like, fuck, now I've got to record all this shit again. So that's why I actually spent a lot of time re-recording all this stuff that he'd done before that was now gone, that he had to go back in and, re-record and sequence and stuff. And so they spent a lot of time doing that at night. And so I was just bombarded with it all the time. But during that time, it was like, okay, he was like, do you want to get on a track with Trials feature? I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, of course. And so we did that track, and it was just, Trials made the beat. We're like, fuck, let's go. Just wrote it, recorded it.
And that was all recorded in that laundry room?
In the laundry, yeah.
How the fuck does it sound that good?
Because it's not that hard to make good sounding music nowadays, I guess. Particularly hip-hop, because most of it is on board a computer, all the sampling, sequencing, production stuff. You can have high quality stuff, and then all you need is a good signal from a mic, and you're sweet to go. As long as there's no traffic noise or the room's not too, noisy, you can get a really good, clean signal.
Did you have a lot of, like studio foam and stuff for the reverb, or?
I think there was a fucking mattress. I think there was a mattress, and that was it.
So it's kind of just comes down to someone who knows what they're doing with sort of mixing and mastering. Yeah.
I think you'd be surprised how much hip hop is recorded.
Yeah.
Really low end, but sounds high end.
Yeah.
All of Dynasty was all recorded handheld on a Shure.
Not a dynamic.
A dynamic, yeah.
Fuck.
All of the Clan albums were recorded on. The other ones recorded on Shure. Was it 7Bs?
SM7Bs, yeah. That's what like Joe Rogan uses for the podcast, which because they were like really low gain or something, I think.
It's just they're a dynamic mic, and I think our style suited dynamic mics more than say condensers because we're quite percussive vocalists.
I was going to say, are you really loud when you record? Because I notice people are someone like Cogs, for instance, is like screams, right? Like shouts, like, so, but then some people aren't as good as with projection.
Not shouting, just projection and being forceful with your voice, like knowing where your voice is to push it to that point of sounding confident and, natural, I guess, but like forceful. So you're not shouting on the mic, but you've just got this, you're not timid or that. Like you found your voice, you know where it is, you know what you're doing. You can be forceful, but not have to shout. And also, good compression goes a long way, particularly with us. We used a lot of heavy compression on our albums for vocals, so they do have that presence as well. Sort of, there's not as much dynamic range in them. It's just kind of fucking in your face. And all the Clan albums were recorded in a study at my dad's place.
Even Weapons Grade?
Everything, yeah.
Brave New World, you didn't do it at like the Shakedown or something?
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, what? Just because...
Just in a room similar to this with the mic, and that was it.
But you're holding it?
The early stuff was, we had a mic stand. I used to like holding the mic. So like, I think Dynasty and Mortar Shell Symphony. I actually sat and recorded it most of it. I stood and would press record and then just like hold the mic and spit it, and then use the mouse, stop, edit, come back, do it. Yeah, it wasn't until we got this SM7B that it's like you have to put it on a stand. It's really awkward to hold it like this,
It's more sensitive as well.
Yeah. So it was just like, but still just a better quality mic, but still the same aesthetic of like, it's a dynamic. It's not a condenser, which has a lot more crispness, I guess, and vibrancy, and picks up a lot more tonally, I think, as well. Well, the dynamic has more of that percussive sound, I think.
Yeah, but it's very much like what's in front of it. It's not picking up too much
Yeah,
atmosphere.
it's like if you're not right on it, you're not going to be heard that well.
I was under the impression that SM7B looked very similar to this one. Was a condenser mic, or is there maybe a different model?
No, it's very similar to this,
but it's still dynamic.
But it's still dynamic, yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, okay. And do you this is me just being selfish now? Do you use Reaper?
No, I never use Reaper.
No?
Daz uses Reaper, but I don't.
What are you recording? I used Audacity back in the day.
Cubase.
Oh, I remember hearing about
a lot
Cubase.
Of stuff for Cubase. Used a cracked version of Cubase for a long time, until the computer that I was using it on, like the platform or XP, kind of no longer
supported it.
Was supported, and then generations beyond that crack program didn't work on them, so I had to go to a paid program. I think I went to Logic for a while because I used a Mac, and then I went back to Cubase on a PC.
Oh, Microsoft, I can't do the Mac thing. Maybe if I gave it time. Weirdly enough, though, but
they're all kind of the same. Like DAWs, like digital audio workstations, are pretty much, they're sort of similar, man. If you can work one, you can work the other.
What about for beats?
Sorry?
Are you an MPC guy or?
No. I fucking Dynasty, Mortar Shell Symphony, Chasms. A lot of it was made in Fruity Loops.
I was literally going to say Fruity Loops as a joke, but all made in Fruity Loops.
Yeah, man.
You rate it?
It's a good platform. It's kind of very, it's almost like MPC-ish in the way that you have to arrange stuff, and it's just triggering things. So it's more about how you set it up to trigger what sounds to trigger, rather than the program being shit. It's like, it's kind of simple, but it's also complex as well. Well, you can get more complex with it, and it's more what you do with it rather than, like, what's it, the saying is like, a workman doesn't blame the tools. It's like, you can work with anything. I mean, you look at earlier hip hop, they were using stuff that is antiquated now, and had, small sampling sizes, seconds that you could use, and they still work to make incredible beats with that. So it's really what you can do rather than what you've got. You can spend all the money on high-tech stuff, but if you can't make a dope beat in Fruity Loops, you kind of not, you need to probably go back and have a bit more practice.
You're not that talented, really. Yeah. I think it was,
But Fruity Loops was good. It's good. It really suited the style of a lot of the stuff I was doing, which was triggering loops or triggering parts of loops or cuts, chopped up bits, and then just sequencing drum patterns. And it had MIDI function in there, so you could plug in a VST and play a bass, with the mouse, click it where you want it to go and all that stuff. So
that's cool that you always kept it simple, man. Like, and I think it'd be interesting for people to hear that at some point there was just lots of like sitting there with a mic because that's kind of the old school
Standing. I never sat.
Oh, you stood?
No, we'll just stand up. Yeah.
Well,
It means business.
diaphragm as well.
Yeah, you gotta get into it. You know, swing your arm around a bit. You know, get your rapper hand going.
Yeah, of course,
You're sitting down, you're knocking the desk. It's like
you can't have a rapper hands. Yeah. Your dick gets in the way. Your balls. You got big balls. Yeah. Well, but before you go, I'm going to do a speed round of nerd shit. So this is something I kind of stopped doing for a bit, but I feel like it's necessary with you.
Are you saying I'm a nerd?
Yes.
No.
Yeah. Well,
hey, no tracks.
You did a Peter Petrelli line.
If you listen to the albums, you'd be like, there's a lot of nerd shit.
Yeah.
You know.
That's what I've picked up on. Like, is that like I find that the concepts of how someone is like when someone's a nerd. For me personally, their stuff's more interesting because it's whether it's a comic book line or it's even anime and stuff like that, just small stuff. You know, I've heard like Dragon Ball Z lines where I've been like, that's cool. Watched it as a kid, you know.
Yeah.
So we'll start with that. Do you have a favorite line? I always like that because people never pick. They always pick one that's usually silly because it's just their favorite because it's theirs.
Yeah.
They like that they said it. Do you like one that you found that was really funny or a stupid line you
I
said?
can't say anything off the top of my head that's like, oh, that's it, because I've got so many good lines, so many.
Of course, yeah.
To choose from, and it's just overwhelming to like actually go through. I'd need a whole algorithm to just trawl through my stuff to find, you know, all the good stuff, then filter it out by like increments and increments of betterness just to get to that cream at the top of the milk. And I just don't have the time to do that. It's just too hard. Everything's good. I don't have one line that I'm like, that's the golden child.
The most egotistical answer that I absolutely love.
Oh,
that was that was really good. Of course,
I'm an MC. You know, there's got to be ego. You can't not.
I like it. You know? So, how about this then? If you could work with anyone, so you could either have someone on a verse, jump on their track, make a song together, work with someone production wise, get them to make a beat for you. You could make a beat for them. Any person, any scenario. They can be alive or dead. They can be fact or fiction. If you want Vegeta to jump on a beat.
Who?
Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z. It was a joke, but anyone ever. I
like
doing fact or fiction.
A fajita.
Yeah, fajita. There's
I would like an enchilada, please.
We've got food out there. We'll get to that. But yeah, so if you could just choose that scenario, like you could work with anyone, just have a studio session with anyone.
Producer wise, probably Primo, just because his beats are dope and he seems like a pretty cool dude, or the RZA, just to be in the room with him and actually gauge how crazy he is, because I think he's a bit loose in the head if you watch some stuff, and just to see the genius there of like, I think it would be interesting to be in the same room as him. I think I'd rather rap over Primo beats, but I do like the early Wu stuff. There's some hit and miss stuff there, but I think RZA would be an interesting dude to sit down with and work. He'd probably, could have some really weird conversations. MCs, I'd probably say MOP, or early 90s Onyx. Their second album is one of the best ever of rap albums, in my opinion. The other one, just for like the fact that I really liked them, would be the Beastie Boys, circa Paul's Boutique, because I think that is a seminal album that really changed hip hop. Paul's Boutique, the sampling on it, it's a fucking, you can dive into that and just go crazy with all the stuff that's going on. And the fact that they're good lyricists on it, it's like really, really good. And they're one of the early influences of me getting into hip hop as well. Not that they're the best rappers, but they're fun. And I just it'd be cool to meet them, I guess. Other than MCA, Adam Yauch, who, rest in peace, is no longer with us. Yeah, I think that's about it. That's about it.
If you've,
I don't have a big list of like, I'd love to work with this person. It's like, I would love to do that. It's like, you know.
No, they were good answers though. Like, and
Yeah.
I understand the perspective of like just wanting to see them work and stuff.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with Joey Valence and Bray? Those new guys that are out.
No.
I reckon you would have heard their songs somewhere on someone's profile or like a picture someone put up. People are using them a lot for like background stuff. I'll send you one of their tracks after. They sound like Beastie Boys, but they're not like stealing the sound.
Okay.
You probably would have heard them, but their album. I'd be curious as to your opinion on that because, to be honest, like for it to come out now and how it sounds,
It's like throwback stuff.
good, man.
Yeah.
It's fucking, and it's one of those ones where like every track's good.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
I'm in my head.
Yeah.
My ear's not to the fucking ground anymore.
Well, yeah.
Other stuff. I'm not. I don't really. Yeah.
You're not crazy in the social media either, right?
No,
So
I'm
it's-
not like listening for what's going on. It's just like you know.
Yeah.
But yeah. But some of that stuff would be more to like, just see so like work with Primo to see what he does and how he does it and things. Riz are the same. MOP is just like I just like them as MCs, just how unashamedly like brash they are and like
Very intense.
they're just fucking. They have really great lines about guns and stuff that are like just funny, but also like kind of like just gangster. You know, you're just like, oh, that's dope, like a concept and stuff, you know. And yeah, I really enjoy their Warriors album. It's just a great album from back to front. Yeah, and Onyx as well because I always like that early stuff was dope.
Yeah, I actually, Onyx is sick. I remember when they came here, I would have liked to have gone to that show. I remember people saying it was amazing. But a quick thing that I didn't ask before that I just remembered. You made a song called Back to the Future.
Yes.
And then
Future to the Back.
Future to the Back.
Yes.
And the song's like the other way around.
Yes.
Yeah. What was the idea behind that? Just literally because you thought that was a cool concept or?
I think Graphic had the idea of like, why don't we write a song that can then be set in reverse, like each line can be done backwards sort of thing, and then just fucking around, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's cool.
setting a challenge, and then we did it. So on one album, it's that song going one way, and then on the other, the subsequent album that it's on, it's the same song, but the lyrics are all reversed, and the chorus is the opposite way around as well.
Did you do that in production though, or did you record it again?
Oh, we recorded it again
Yeah.
because it's impossible to do in production.
Yeah.
Like, I wrote that verse knowing that, like, I had to be able to do it from the bottom of the page going upwards, each line, that it would make sense as well.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just like that. The next line, you had to connect the concept to the one before. It's almost like the one before had to also come off the one after it.
After it, yeah, because you were on the last verse too, and then on the next one,
Yeah,
you were
yeah.
on the first
then
verse.
first verse. And
Yeah.
so it's like, exactly, yeah.
Mm.
It was like a little just fuck around experiment thing of like, can we write a song like this and do that? And we did it, and then nobody really give a fuck.
I like
Well,
it.
yeah, I know. Obviously, some people are like, some people have poured it up, but not that many people are just like, oh, did you do the same album? We put the same song in it. It's like, if you actually listen to it, it's not.
Luckily, we've got like fucking 140 songs, so it's all good that you can just get one song that's the same. But also,
And on Chasms as well, there's a song that's called 16, and we just randomly picked 16 words out of a dictionary. Like, we just pass a dictionary around and open it and then sort of stab at it, and wherever it was near, like whatever word was cool, use that word. So we wrote down the words, and then you had to use them in the verse in that order. and we just sat down and each wrote a different verse using those words. And so if you listen to the song, it's not really that noticeable. But if you listen to the song knowing those words, you're like, oh, that's when he used it. Oh, he used it in line 2. Oh, he opens with that word, or you know what I mean?
Like when they do the freestyle ones on like a game show or something, and they give them like 3 words they have to say, or
Yeah, sort of thing. But it was just like a exercise experiment of like, what would it sound like if we all used this? It had to use 16 words, and we all have to use them in a verse. How would we do it differently? How would it sound differently? And all of it sounds. We don't have anything that sounds similar, a concept linking that word to anything that the other person says. So it doesn't stand out as like, oh, they're just using the same words. It's like, a little thought experiment concept of like, what would that sound like? Yeah.
I like it. That's sick, because I was listening to that 16 the other day and I didn't even notice.
You don't notice.
No, you don't.
Like, why is it called 16? Is it 6? Oh, it's track number 16 on the album. It must be it.
Well, you've always got great vocabulary. It's like all of you do. So it's not like I'm like, oh wow, I was using really big words, or
yeah.
But what? So
it wasn't even that. Some of them were like pretty just simple words, but it was like,
yeah,
you had to use it in the rap in that order.
So your writing process must be insane, because you've made that much music. Like, so that's the thing I struggle with, or I know some other people do. Like maybe Trem, you mentioned before that he was struggling with stuff. Like for me,
well, Trem was just perfectionist.
A perfectionist, yeah. But that's kind of what stood in the way for me. I would just literally get halfway through a verse and like bin it. You know what I mean? Not comparing myself to Trem, but I just mean like I just could never make music again, and I really, really want to even now. But and I was talking to Fluent about it. He was really helpful because he was kind of giving me advice on it, and it was just like, man, just stop sort of getting in your own way. Yeah, it's like just make some shit, but like
you have to let go.
Yeah, it's just so hard,
big
man.
Thing in life, you have to let go. You can't be too attached to the outcome being how you envision it perfectly, because perfection is it's impossible to reach. So you have to go, is that the best I can do at the time? You can always look back and go, I could have done that better, but you would never get anything done. Like, how many albums have I done? I would still be on the first one if it was like everything had to be perfect.
But is your writing that quick? Like, are you like, is it?
To a degree sometimes, yeah.
And were all of you like that when you worked with them? So it's just, you guys just would pump out a 16 and all right, done.
Yep.
Yeah, wow.
Was, I don't know, just confident in our writing ability, and also in the ability that like you did your best at the time and just have confidence that it is good. And most of it was. There's sometimes things that you look back and you go like, I could have worded that better, differently. But what's done is done. And it's out there. And most people that listen don't know that it could have been better, because they just hear it for what it is, where you're hearing it for what concept you had in your head. And if you're judging it upon an imaginary perfect thing, you can never reach that. So you have to know when to let go and go, that's it,
Yeah.
And the more you do that, the more confident you get in doing it, because you're exercising a muscle of like writing, recording. That's good. I know that's good. That's a great take. Sometimes it's the first take is the best one you can do, because it's just raw and it's, I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'm fussy with beats too. I think I need to get over that. I think I need to force myself to just write to beats that I don't even like, just because sometimes I hear beats and I'm like, how the fuck did they write to this? This would be because I'm just listening to the beat in the background going, oh my God, I hate how that sounds. Yeah. But they've made it sound good. Yeah. It depends. But
I just think the three of us we had a healthy ego, confidence in our ability to do it. And I think there was not a lot of second guessing. It was just like shit was weeded out in the writing process, because you were sitting there writing, all sitting around the table with the beat plan or whatever, and it'd be like, what have you got? This. And so you'd know, oh, that's shit. Fuck. You have to lift your game, So it was a lot of like that healthy competition really focuses you into doing great stuff.
That's where the good lines come from, I guess. Like I was trying to think. You said when I was listening, there was a newer track. I think it was off the Napalm Psalms. You said like something about a banana peel and then like slob the knob or something. And I was like, I've never heard that in a rap song. Tomahawk did it too. I remember he just says called someone cock smokers or something. And I was just like, it's just stuff you don't, this is what me and Andrew were talking about. People saying stuff in songs you don't normally hear.
Yeah.
We were making fun of this guy, or not making fun of this guy. It's one guy he knows the other day who said, don't do this or something. If you do it, I'm going to hit you with my thick dong. And I just lost it laughing. I was like, I've never heard anyone say that in a rap song. Yeah. But it's conviction, man. He said it like he meant it.
And man, if you say it,
I'm afraid of the dong.
Watch out for the dong.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to get it. Don't fuck around.
2 more before you go.
Yeah.
Back to the Future was one of my favorite movies, which is why I liked that little thing you did as well. I like the title. Do you have like a favorite movie, or is there like a one that you've just always fucked with hard?
Fear and Loathing, obviously, is a great one.
Or a TV show as well.
I do like war movies. Saving Private Ryan was great. The whole series of like Band of Brothers.
I haven't seen that though. I need to watch it. I know.
I'd say this interview's over.
My missus has seen it and she's like, you need to watch it because there's another one that Generation.
There's the Pacific. And then there's
Generation Kill.
Generation Kill's dope. Yeah, that's really good. That's about the Iraq War. And a Ranger, recon unit in Iraq, and it's kind of cool because it's modern, so it's kind of got a lot of pop references and stuff that they're doing stupid shit, driving around in these fucking Humvees, drinking Mountain Dew and popping fucking,
Buffalo Soldiers, similar to that. They were all like on heroin and they were like driving in the tank and like crushing cars and
sort of stuff, just like fucking around, like, because they're kids, man, as well. And that's cool. So I like them. Fuck.
Alex Garland just made a movie called Warfare that's out at the moment.
Oh yeah, I want to check that out.
That's written by like a Vietnam War guy, directed by him or something.
Yeah.
I mean, war movies sick. Full Metal Jacket.
Of course.
Yeah.
Full Metal Jacket is fucking one of my other favorites. Yeah.
Hacksaw Ridge, I was a big fan of.
That's cool. Yeah. There were some great movies in the 80s about Platoon and that sort of stuff. But yeah.
No, they're all cool. They're cool. Yeah.
I've probably got a list, but now I'm on the spot. I'm like, I don't know anything. I don't know a movie.
I'm the same, man, because I've seen so many, and then I've got like Letterboxd is a good way to try to keep track of it, but I'm not as consistent of using it. But it's good because you can say you've watched something. It's not just like an app, man. That's like a video shop, and you can just say you've watched something, but you can have mates on there, and then they can just go on and literally see everything you've ever watched. You can rate stuff if you want, but I just do it to keep track, or I add something to a watch list because people will mention a movie, and you've written They Live. I've got to remember that now, otherwise I'll forget it. And I'm like, I want to watch it, so it's hard to keep track, man. But they're all solid because they're another thing, those older movies, they have that thing that I guess this older stuff has for me, the SBX shit. It's not that there's not good hip hop now. It's just that it just doesn't sound like what I grew up on. It's a nostalgia thing for me. And there always will be with movies too. Movies were just, it's so weird. Like we talked about it the other day, even when there's a movie and they're in the sky, everything's on a drone now. Back then, it was like a motherfucker was hanging a camera out of a helicopter and it just looked really rigid and like shit. But you like that. You actually like that. Now everything looks too good. It's good and bad. It's the same
things
thing.
You look at and you're just like, well, it's almost too good that it's not real anymore.
Yeah.
Like it goes beyond realism into this sort of like, you don't believe it because it's too real. What's it? Yeah, uncanny valley effect, I guess.
Not heard that phrase.
That's
before.
the thing where it's like, if something's too real or too perfect, it's disconcerting to people. It's based on a book or a movie called I can't remember what it's called now, but it's about this community where all the wives are like robots, I think, and they're ultra realistic, but not real. So people coming in are like, there's something off and they don't know why, but it's because things are too real. They're too real, but they're not natural. So it's kind of like, yeah, when you know something is not, it's kind of looks real, but it's not.
Like Truman Show vibe kind of thing where everything feels off. Something feels off.
Yeah. It's kind of like, yeah, I don't know. It's a hard concept to put into words.
I don't know if you ever watched that, a similar one. That's where they're Westworld, where they, it's like that kind of vibe where things look real.
But you know that there's something not quite right. You're like, is this a person or is this a robot?
Yeah.
But you can't tell, but you know that there's something not quite right.
Yeah.
Like, they're too perfect. But you can't assimilate like that sort of the natural things, the things that are imperfect aren't there. So you're like, that's weird.
It's in The World's End.
Can't
with
say
Simon Pegg and Nick Frost.
Oh, yeah.
And remember how the town gets taken over by like those people, and it's kind of like that. You know the one where they're trying to drink at all the pubs?
Yeah.
And all those like robot things take over, and that's exactly what happens. Like when they take over one of his mates, when he fell over when he was younger, he like had a big scar on his stomach, but then it's not there anymore. Like all the imperfections go away, and they start noticing all these people aren't real.
It's weird, yeah.
What's going on? A weird vibe, yeah. Like it's. I know what you're saying. I'd like to know if you think of it. Message it to me on Facebook at Good Night when you remember.
It might even be like the Stepford Wives or something like that.
It's like the concept sounds very familiar.
Is the theory of it like?
Yeah.
That something's too real, something's not real, but it appears very real. But because it appears so real, there's no flaws.
And that's not real.
And that's disconcerting to people.
Yeah.
Because it's not natural.
Yeah, I like
Perfection in nature is not natural, you know? So you're like, why does this feel off?
Yeah, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like these wives are too perfect, sort of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're like
weird, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's like they're doing it, everything you want, but then you're like, it's yeah. I guess I want to finish it with something a little bit deep. But I guess it's kind of, for me, this has been this sort of thing where this feels like a massive reflective episode of like your entire career. And it's not that you're necessarily finished, but if you were, it's a fucking hell of a career, right?
It's been a good run. I've had a good run.
Hopefully, do you think you'll ever get up on stage again and just do like, would you still love to perform every now and then?
Yeah, most of the stuff I've done recently has been like just feature stuff. Like,
that's what I thought, yeah.
Get up with like, downside doing a gig or something and it's jump up. But I don't know. I don't know if I could put on a fucking show by myself.
Like, yeah, but you wouldn't have to, right? You'd probably you structure it maybe so there's a bit of features.
Yeah. But it's still like, I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
I'd be like, that might be hard work.
Well, do you think, obviously even if you are done with releases and maybe you don't make more music, is there anything you feel like you want to do? Like, is there anything left? Or like, could you essentially, could you let go now? We talked about letting go. Could you let go now? Or do you still feel like, nah, I wouldn't want to let go now?
Oh, there's still moments where I'm like, I've still got it. I hear shit. I hear stuff and I'm like, I can do better. I can do better than that. Fuck. Fucking these kids, man. What are they doing? They're ruining it. These pesky kids. There's still things I'm like, I have moments where you're like, oh, that's a fucking dope idea. That's a dope like concept for a line or something. And you're still passionate about it. So
why not use it?
Yeah. There's still things I'm like, But I guess when you're younger, you're hungry and the urgency to do stuff is paramount, You're like, whereas now it's like, I've done a lot, I don't feel the need to sort of prove myself, I guess. I don't know. There's no like, oh, I have to stay relevant. I have to get out there and do this or that. It's like, still have a fairly good standing in the community. People know the name.
Mm.
You know?
Oh, I mean, I certainly hope I get to see you on stage one more time. But
Just once?
well,
Jeez, bro. He doesn't
Well-
even like me. He only wants to see you once.
it depends though. Only if you're doing features. They're my favorite tracks.
Yeah, that's it. Other people's songs are good. You on it, but
Oh no, I think one more would be cool, man. And I think that just doesn't go just for you. I think like I said, maybe I'm too nostalgic, but
yeah.
people have gone so many different ways now and stuff, and I get it. Everyone's doing their own thing, but it'd just be cool to have SBX back in the building, kind of, one or two more times. I don't feel like it needs to be. It's just weird now. There's nothing wrong with it. Downside doing their thing and Draft doing hit. It's all good.
Yeah.
But fuck, man, I'd pay fucking $500 a ticket to see like Swan Song done live with most of them anyway. Whoever can be there.
That sort of money, I'm sure.
Well, I mean per ticket. All right, it's yeah, but. That's kind of,
just do one show with one song, $500.
And it's just me. I just bought the one ticket and I'm standing there watching. Yeah, you could do. It could do.
I mean, the split would be terrible.
Yeah. I just go, Draft would just get it.
But I did the production, so I get 2 points.
You do the production, but
Rather
doesn't
than
say
one.
he did it.
He didn't do anything on that. He did nothing.
Man, it's like for me, this is for me. So if you've listened to this and enjoyed it, that's cool. But I would have been fine if you didn't, because this has been for me.
Yeah,
Episode.
screw you guys.
Fuck you guys,
Man. There's plenty of other podcasts to listen to, and I suggest you do.
I suggest you do. Yeah.
You don't like this one.
If you don't like this one,
you've gotten to the end now, so you kind of can't take it back.
You can't. If you search it on YouTube anyway, it'll just be toilets, so you won't get it. So, but
there you go.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, man, I've always been a massive fan of your music, and it's always
It's very nice to hear.
Yeah, it's
because I put in some effort, and it's good to hear that your efforts get rewarded with people enjoying it, and that they connect with people. Because sometimes I think I write stuff, and I'm just like, it's for me. Like the concepts and the references, they're for me. And I'm like, do other people really care? Are they getting it? Are they like connecting with stuff? Because I've some pretty weird concepts and ideas that a lot of other MCs aren't really referencing or moving in those directions, So it's kind of like, it's some of the stuff's a little bit out there, a little bit, esoteric, I guess, in ways. So it's kind of like, sometimes it's like, it's good to know that people are like, fucking love that shit. Yeah.
Well, it's because
knowing lines and knowing references and knowing things and stuff.
Yeah, but it's because it's for you that we like it, right?
Yeah,
because you're not writing for other people, and you can hear that in it. You know what I mean? But whether we were drinking and playing it in the background, or whether I'm listening to it in my car, or whether I was listening to it, like I built a studio in my room when I was like 14, and I used to record stuff, and I would be like listening to shit while smoking bongs, kind of getting. Kind of motivating myself with hip hop, but then like fucking myself up by getting high and then being not productive.
That is a little too much.
Yeah, but it's the same as way I suppose it's always going to be weird for yourself or any person, because the way that you look at people, depending on how you do, whether it's a TV show or someone that you followed since a kid or whatever, you have this. People are characters to you, and you have this thing to them, and. For a lot of anyone I speak to, whether it's like Scotty or yourself or whatever, it's weird for you guys to think that you are, but that's what you are. And so when I was younger, we talked about you guys like you were famous when not that you weren't, but you know what I mean? It's this.
There was some modicum of fame.
There was some modicum. Yeah, exactly.
Notorious.
That's all. Yeah. Big Balls 87 posted your song. Yeah.
Well, we knew we'd made it when he'd put that fucking up. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
He'd bootleg that shit,
With an ABBA album cover instead of your one. Yeah.
Hey.
But
it is
look,
what it is.
It is what it is. But that's to me what I'm trying to capture here, I guess. Even if it, we're in a different time, I just think documenting what has been done and kind of showing it love is really important to me, because I feel like that's where we lack a little bit. I think that whether it's SBX or people from over East or anything, Australian hip-hop needs more documentation, because I think it's incredible. And I think what some people have done, I think the stories that you tell, I think the talent on show, I think the performances, I think what's been contributed far outweighs what's been noticed. And I think that it's because it's a little bit of a niche, the fact that I like that we can create something that can like exist, and we can say, if you want to know about this person and find things out and hear these stories and hear about how they made music and where they came from and where this was from, we have that because, you know, there's just not enough of it. And that's what I want to do here. And so you coming on has really allowed us to tell some of that, and it's just been cool to listen, man. So thank you so much for being here.
That's all right. I've got plenty more to say too if you want to know about stuff. I've got dirt on everybody.
Well, man, who knows? After you know your next album and next album launch, we can do another one.
I've got to write an album to get back on this show. Oh man,
just get Daz to produce
That's
it,
too hard.
and then ChatGPT can write lyrics.
I don't even need to be there.
Just put a Mortar verse in, and then say, make another verse like this verse.
Yeah, and then another one off that.
Yeah,
and then another one.
6 songs.
Yeah, just fucking
Man,
I need you to populate
all of it,
12 tracks,
and then do a Graphic and Tomahawk feature, and then a Clandestien album comes
that's
out.
It.
Yeah,
fucking hell, this is easy.
I know, right?
Kids nowadays, they got it so easy. I don't know what it was like back in the day.
They don't.
You
know.
had to sit down and write verses and had to get in a studio and rap them into a microphone.
Windows XP.
And on Windows XP. And nowadays, they just put in a little bit of code. They're a rap star.
Done. In 2 seconds.
Yeah. They got a fucking cartoon video to go with it as well.
Everything.
How can I compete?
You can't.
I don't know Chat GPT from a fucking,
Yeah, I know.
piece of broccoli.
Fuck broccoli.
Fuck that shit. Yeah, no.
That's what I want to be the last thing on this podcast is fuck broccoli.
broccoli.
Fuck broccoli.
Well, there we go. There we have it. Just like to say to broccoli, fuck you.